Just go there and ask them to the front desk.
Oh, for sure.
So you know you're on the board, you need a 700. You can do it right there and fill it.
That's what I did. I told them to pull my last year and
Yeah.
nothing's changed.
They pulled it and just said copy it.
No, I'm not copied it from my last year. The whole thing.
So much easier. That's what they did for me too. As I said, I forget what I put in.
Nothing's changed, so it's a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
Tell everybody to turn this off.
Here, I'll share.
Go ahead. And Jasmine, that little guy of yours, he is so cute. He is a
Now we're on the air, and I want to welcome everybody to our VillageFest meeting of March 27th. Thank you for taking time out of this beautiful afternoon to be with us. First thing I'm going to respectfully request is that you turn them off. Our neat zillion-dollar sound system doesn't like when you put them on airplane mode. We're not on the airplane, so just turn them off, please, because we're recording and we're televising, and for whatever reason, above my pay grade, when these things are on, it doesn't do whatever it's supposed to do. My name is Mike Siskin. I'm the chairman of our VillageFest board. The first thing we're going to do is a roll call.
Chair Ziskin,
I'm here.
Vice Chair Watson,
here,
Board Member Meredith is currently absent, Board Member King,
Here.
Board Member Manley,
here.
Board Member Tina Louise, Board Member Julie Montanti. Here. We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you so much. Our next order of business is board comments. Can I start on this side and we can just go
Can we do
around?
public comments first?
Public comment, my apologies, because you guys are more important than we are. You're our customers. This is a time when any of you can come forward and talk to us about anything related to Village Fest, any problems, suggestions, anything at all. Do I have any public comments? No public comments. That's usually a good thing. So now we're going to have board comments, and I'll start with Julie.
I'm good right now.
I just want to thank staff for helping set up wonderful events for our birthday party on Thursday. We had a great time, even though we had a little rain, but it was great. It was actually a beautiful night after the rain stopped. It was warm and nice.
It really was.
And then thank you for setting up our PS1 table and handing out flyers. It was really fun to kind of do that. And we had the mayor there and several of the city council people. We also requested the mayor, when he came to our table, that if he would look into or kind of spearhead our empty seat, board seat, and work with the city clerk, because we do have a very strong candidate on file, and we'd like to get someone on board as soon as possible.
Thank you. Anything?
Oh, same thing for me, just
Okay.
thanks for really successful cupcakes again.
It was.
I went home with frosting, but that's okay, on my face.
Oh, I usually get it on, I didn't
Yeah.
do
No,
it this year. I
I
usually
did
get it all
good.
over me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the
But I
aprons
wear
were great,
gloves.
too.
I wear
Yeah.
gloves. Okay.
I was going to do the same thing. Thank the staff for, always doing a great job. Thank you.
Tina?
I will say the same thing. Organized and professional and they're always.
Okay. Consent calendar. Is this when you want to do the minutes of the old meeting?
Correspondence.
So there should be,
We don't have any correspondence, right?
no, there's no
Okay.
correspondence.
The consent calendar, we can approve these things with one motion. The posting of the agenda and the approval of minutes of February 13th. But you also have February 27th.
Right.
Do we want to do those while we're doing consent calendar, or is
Yes,
this, okay?
Yes. However, I need to make
Okay.
sure, I do believe that Vice Chair Watson was absent on February the 27th. So we may want to separate.
Okay, let's do that as a separate motion. Okay. All right, let's
So
do
we
the,
could separate them.
okay, thank you. I'm going to do the consent calendar first, which is two issues to move and approve, or not approve, the report of the posting of the agenda for this meeting and the approval of the minutes from February 27th. Can somebody make a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the consent calendar with the exception of 4B, not accepting the agenda for February 27th.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Are we okay with, it sounded like that was a long motion.
Nope, that was correct.
We're correct, okay. Moved and seconded, all, discussion? No discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. Okay,
I'll make a motion to accept 4B, the minutes of the meeting for February 27th, with the correction of Dorothy Watson absent.
okay, do I have a second?
I will second that.
Okay, you can't vote on it because you were absent. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that carries. Now, the minutes of February 27th, which were handed out, would somebody like them?
We just did that.
did.
Oh, you did that, so we're done with
We're
that.
finished.
All right, so we're all finished.
We're good to go.
All right. Okay.
Be the 13th one.
Okay, the next part of our meeting involves all of you sitting in front of us, and that's we call them legislative actions. I call them applications to be part of our VillageFest family. And our first one is Ras Patos Coma LLC, Eduardo Lizardo. And it's a food service vendor, fruit and shaved ice. And I bet I'm lousing up your name, aren't I?
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, welcome.
When you speak, if you'd be kind enough to speak in front of the microphone.
You guys knew I was coming, and that's why I put it way up.
Exactly. And I'm going to request that all of us hold your questions and comments until he's finished. We're going to go around in an orderly manner. If not, we're never going to get through this.
Yeah.
So please, sir, go right ahead.
All right,
Thank
well,
you.
My name is Eduardo Lizardo. I'm 24 years old. I just turned 24, actually.
Happy birthday.
March 13, actually.
Oh,
I'm pretty much just taking over this business. My mom started it back in a... Can you hear me now? Okay.
you should
I don't
hold
know
it in
this.
your hand.
She
Just
said
take it
might-
right off.
She
of
said
there.
it might not
Perfect.
work, so let's give him this one.
Yeah, give him that one.
Like, give him this one.
Yeah, I like those
And
better.
then you and I will share.
All
You
right,
are gonna have to hold
This is a
it,
much
though.
better mic.
All right, awesome.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Okay, can
sorry
you hear me
about
now?
that.
Okay, so this business was started back in 2008.
Great.
My mom, it's actually everything is homemade. We have over 20 different flavors of shaved ice. Every one of those flavors is made from scratch. For instance, if you were to get mango, it's made with actual mango in the inside. We have customized fruit. I kind of brought something for you guys a little bit. I don't know if it's a good time to present it to you guys.
Sure.
Right.
Oh,
We go clockwise. Right. I'm not going to turn down a shaved ice.
oh
No.
my gosh, look.
I got you guys a bunch of fruit.
I see
Oh,
that.
how nice.
Oh my gosh.
How beautiful.
There. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
She's serving. Oh, maybe she.
Okay.
we
Let,
just-
let her
we just
serve and
asked
you
her.
keep talking.
Oh, okay.
Okay. That's okay.
Awesome. Okay, so what you guys are about to eat, it's just fruit, basic fruit with sweet cream. It's a homemade sweet cream. It has condensed milk and a couple other ingredients that I can't really tell you about. But yeah, I hope you enjoy it. It comes with granola, raisins, and coconut in it.
That's nice.
That one, it has chili, salt, and lemon.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. It has cucumber, pineapple, watermelon.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
So yeah, as I was saying, we've been in business for over 10 years with our first location in Cathedral City. Like I said, I just took over about 6 months ago, so I'm trying to expand. The main reason I want to get into the VillageFest is just the environment that you guys create, the city of Palm Springs, the family environment. That's the same environment I try to create in my location. So that's pretty much why I really want to join VillageFest with you guys. Just love the family environment.
Open that up and put some in there. Okay. Did you have anything else to tell us?
No, that's it. sir.
Okay.
A little nervous there. You guys got me.
No. We're sniffers.
Oh, okay.
We don't mind us. We're hogs when it comes to food. Thank you so much for sharing and,
Oh, yeah.
and for your
Hope you
samples.
guys liked it.
Thank you. I'm going to just go around this way. If Julie, would you like to start? You haven't. Okay.
Okay.
I can skip you if you like.
It's very good.
You don't make the ice pops though, do you?
The customized ice pops?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do actually.
Are you the store on
Cathedral Canyon, on
Main
Cathedral
Street
Highway 111.
No,
Yeah, I just want a little bit.
next
No,
to you?
no, they're in Cathedral City.
We're in Cathedral City.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, very good.
anything else?
No.
Ron, did you have any questions?
But our meeting is delicious.
Okay, Mar?
Tell me, the cream part is an old family recipe?
It is. It goes back. It goes back to my grandma
Oh.
actually, and my mom kind of just perfected it, threw in her little own twist in there.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it's a family recipe. So is the shaved ice, and we have a long menu that if I was to sit here and tell you the whole menu, we'd be here all day. But
Okay.
yeah,
That's fine.
Okay,
Delicious.
is there a booth picture, a photo of the booth?
I bet it's pretty.
I bet it's pretty
I bet
too.
it's colorful
Um,
and pretty looking.
Okay, I have no comments. Do you have a comment? No, no comment. Do you have a comment?
It's good.
It's good. Tina?
Comments.
Okay, I just want to see the booth for a second.
Presentation.
thank you, appreciate it.
The booth
Okay.
is good.
See, fruity.
It is, just fine. Okay, would somebody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept this vendor.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Julie. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No, it carries. Welcome.
There you go.
We'll see you down there.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
We'll see you on the street.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay,
thank you.
great.
Oh, God, this is so good.
Isn't
know.
it good?
Put your coat
So
in.
I will say to our visitors and our audience, we have a vacancy on the VillageFest board. If you would like to be a part of this, fill out an
Yes.
application with the city. It's really cool, it's a cool board. Our next potential vendor is Sill Company Fashion Jewelry. It's Christine Lynn, and Arts and Crafts.
So this is,
And this is a re-jury.
correct, this was a vendor that the board has asked to come and resubmit.
Don't worry about it.
A couple board members had seen product on the street that they wanted to take some additional looks at. So we asked the vendor to come back and provide you with further information so that you feel comfortable having them on the street. So they are here today, and we appreciate you coming back out.
Okay, and again, I think rather than just shotgun it, maybe we could go around. I'm gonna go around this way. Tina, did you have any comments about?
Julie?
Wait,
I'm sorry.
before
ahead.
we start, could
Yeah.
they do their presentation of
Oh,
showing
yes,
us what they're
yes,
doing?
yes, yes.
Hello everyone,
Hi.
happy Easter.
Welcome.
Thank you. Some of the faces have been very nice to us, and I want to thank the staff for working with us and they've been very kind.
Sure.
But I guess we're back for the same reason. A lot of you were a little bit curious about how we can produce them on the
Thank you.
But I think for someone who's not in the jewelry industry or that's it's a full time, it may seem a lot to you. But that's okay. That's the whole reason why we're here for. We're gonna go through it and explain to you how the process works. Stuff. But before we get started, a little bit of background of how our business got started.
Can I ask you to pull the mic, hold it? Yeah, thank you.
One of the reasons why we never mentioned this in the last meeting is because it is not in our culture or our nature to talk about or brag about our background. But we were never supposed to start this business in the first place. It started out as a hobby. Our main purpose of being here is to get our education. So that's the main reason why we both got our degrees from the university. We're getting an international business degree, also doubling major in Spanish. But long story short, about 10, 12 years ago, when the economy really hit, I think most of us can agree that a lot of people's family got affected really badly, and a lot of the middle class got affected. So that's where we both decided to make a really conscious decision to bring back basically our old talent, because we actually come from 2 generations from jewelry casting family. We never consider ourselves the 3rd one because our business is truly too small to even put that title on. But to further get started, we're going to go through the process. If you're already flipping through the pages, I think you already went way ahead of myself. But that's okay. So we can go over again for the first page. And that basically just shows our booth, how it looks like, exactly the same pictures that you guys saw at the first meeting. The same amount of jewelry. As a matter of fact, what we have on Thursday night, it's a lot less than what we show in the picture right there. But to start with, on the casting process, you have to start doing it by, let me get myself the package first. Of course, the basic part is that we need to design the product. It's on the second page, though. And are we on the same page? No?
Continue.
Keep going.
Okay, you want me to keep going?
Yeah,
Okay.
you have a
We
time-
have
there's
to
a time
start
frame on this.
designing them, and then it needs to go to the very first pieces
Right.
hang.
You have 5 minutes.
Oh,
Just be quick.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
we
we-
can see the picture.
You can see it? Okay, but basically, okay, after the hand carving part, then we press it on the rubber mold that it's inject. This is the part that where the injection part goes in, with the wax needs to be filled in. Once it fills in, we peel this out, and then that's when we go through the process. We have to inspect and make sure there's no extra residue around it, so the casting doesn't get too much work after when you finish making the product. So when the wax has already been inspected, that's when you build the tree wax, which is the one in the bottom one that you will see on the blue
Do you have
one.
those actual flower
Right here. Oh, we're gonna
ones that
pass
are
it
in the
around
picture?
for you to see.
No, the ones that are in the picture. The flower.
Yes, we're gonna pass around, and then so you can see them. And then it gets built into the tree wax. So once the tree wax is built, that's when we pour into the metal flask. That's when the powder and the water, it's called the investment, it gets poured into and you need to wait it to dry in order to get it to wet. But it's actually, the process is very fast. The baking part, it takes about 12 hours to make them. And then that's where the wax gets to be dripped out from the flask, and then that's when we wait. Once you wait for the next day, that's when we have prepared for the casting metals to pour into. Got to make sure the metal flask is actually hot enough in order for us to pour the metal in. If you see the trail, there's actually one of the pouches in that has the silver beads. Yes, the one on top of the table. Yeah. Oh, I forgot this. I skipped the part where you before you process the. Yes, those are the silver beads that it gets to pour into the casting part. Okay. Once the tree is finished for the metal, we need to release them from the flask for the investment, and that's usually processed either through the water, and then you kind of like hammer it out, and then after that you go through it. You have to clean it out with the high steam water to it, and then once the tree is removed from it, you got to kind of like soak it into a special chemical to treat the metal so it doesn't get oxidized before the polishing part. If you see on the tray on the molding cast that you have right there, the part that the silver cast is not shiny, that's prior to the polishing process though. That's before we do all the process and treatment. Once the tree is removed, that's when the trimming begins. That's what the fun part begins though. You start trimming and then you start polishing the product, and then the final step, of course, is the part when we put the gemstones together on the setting of it. One of the tray that you're gonna see on it, the last tray that Ron is holding right now, it's a crystal part, the small one. Those are actually processed prior to the metal casting part. You put that before on the wax. You put the crystal on. It's actually a lot easier to do it that way before you pour the metal casting in. It creates kind of like a glue when the metal is poured inside the metal flask on it. So the process, it takes a lot less time to work on it that way though. A lot of the times that if you look at our jewelry, we specialize a little bit more on the gemstones than anything else. It has a lot to do because sterling silver can fluctuate sometimes with the pricing level. And gemstone, it's actually more stabilizes the price. So to make the jewelry like that, our price is a little bit more consistent. Once in a while, like we mentioned last time, that we will go ahead and make stainless steel just to bring the price point down a little bit more so. And we are happy to mention that in one of your categories, I don't know who has it right now, the two-tone with the 18-karat gold, we're actually expanding that line. And that particular line, we can expand it. It has to do because customer who's willing to pay two-tone with the 18-karat gold in it, with sterling silver, they're willing to pay more money to it. So that gives us a lot more room to kind of like profit or stabilize our price point of that. But on the lower end, like just the plain silver, we trying to keep it kind of like a lower range, not too much on the higher end, because it'll be a little bit insane to keep up with the pricing on it. And I hope that kind of like explains a little bit better than what we heard last time.
Right.
You have,
I'm going to start at this end, and feel free to ask your questions. Let's just do it that way, so that,
I like that.
yeah.
I do have two.
Yes.
Oh, right. So,
Is your mic on?
oh, I'm sorry. Question?
Yes.
First of all, I want to say I learned something right now with the process of how these things
Yes.
are made. I didn't really know how jewelry was made. But a question, is the same process used for these shells?
Those are actually real shells.
They're
Those are
real
just
shells.
casting
And
around
then
them.
you shined it or
The
gloss?
the shell inside, if you flip it over, it needs to be injected with a resin on it, just to prevent the shell from cracking. So, but most of our stones, we don't process too much of them because that requires a whole different process of, that's more like a gemstone, not so much on the casting. So we specialize more on the casting part, more on the stone.
Okay,
So
thank you.
buying the product, buying the gemstone, it's actually a little bit easier. We have to work with the specialist who takes care of all the stones, and they're the one who actually can make what we request them to do in order to fit into our casting, though.
I have
Thank you.
a quick question about that processing, and we can keep it just
Yeah,
one.
that's fine.
When you
Yes.
talked about the shell, do you buy the shell with the mold on the back then? So, or explain how much work do you do in that particular chain and piece?
The shell, all the part on the top, those are casting, those are ours.
No, on the shell, you cast the shell?
You have to, the casting on the shell round then.
Well, I thought you said they were real shells.
Yes,
They are real
shells.
shells.
The real shells. The silver. It's a
Okay, so
casting.
you do that, yeah, so the back of the shell, you don't do that part.
The part of the back of the shell, they have to treat the process of
Someone
it.
else does that.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Tina, did you have a second question?
No, that's it, thank you.
Okay. Dottie, did you have a question?
Are you the only two making this?
We're the one making it, and we always have assistants for when we're running on the low production. Usually summertime between March through end of November. That's when we fully kicked in. And most of the time it's us, but when we have our temporary guy, or I think we're gonna have to start having them as a full-time guy now, because the process is just too long. But it's actually easier to make a certain quantity than making it one by one, because the
can
process is the
understand
same. It's almost like making a batch. You don't want to make one piece of cookie. You want to make a batch of cookie. It takes about the same amount of time to make it. So
spend
for
7 days a week making this, so we actually only sell 1 or 2 days a week.
we
So-
spend only 1 or 2 days on a weekday selling to customers, and we need that because we need our direct customer feedback. I think that's really, really important for us.
Okay. Did you have another question?
Yeah. Are you on the internet?
No, we're not.
No, we're not.
No way. It's
we
this
don't
is
have
too
time
busy
for-
now. That requires somebody else completely to do the internet, and I think it loses the quality of service and to understand what people want.
Well,
And
it's
they
a
can
different
actually.
market, so
Okay.
it's not-
Yeah.
Did you have any
We're not
questions?
interested in that.
So, well, actually, I just wanted to say that also at your booth, you had chains that you were selling individually.
The
And I'm
chain,
pretty
if
sure
you
you don't make the
notice-
chains. And then also there were, oh, that's not a question.
No.
Okay.
That's you can make a comment.
Okay, and then also some beadwork, like that bracelet that's right there, also that doesn't fit under the 75% handmade. I am very familiar with the lost wax process, and you have explained
okay.
it very well today, and that is true, but I still have trouble understanding that this quantity of jewelry that you have at that booth could possibly be made not by a company, but by individuals here. I mean, it's a massive quantity, and I understand that you want a second booth. Was this the? Correct. A second booth? I mean, I just,
So it sounds to me like, I don't want to put words in your
Yeah.
mouth. We're concerned about the quantity that you two are making all of this stuff. It just, for a layman like myself, I wonder, you must be up all night long with the molds and the wax and the
Well, we'll be making this
I think
for,
they answered that question, that they hire someone to help.
we asked
Which
for a
is not part
second
of the
booth
help,
because we
the
wanted to
design,
have
so-
space for the customers. but the amount of merchandise is, we want it to spread out and give customers
Right.
space.
And that's a different issue than the particular items like the beads and the chains, which I did not see in here that were being
Well, the
handmade.
The chain.
Let's
actually,
let's
when
talk about
Joyce-
that.
Yeah, when
Sure,
Joyce stopped by
sure.
my booth, I was actually confused, but I don't
I
know if that's to
understand.
say the least when she asked me about the chain though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
chains were just hanging there, and I
Yeah.
said you sell these chains separately, and then the
I
person.
tried to explain to you
Yeah, that you were
that
approved for it, that's what you told me.
no, I never confirmed. Well, that's your word against mine then.
All right, well, let's
Because
not get
I
into
never
whose
said
word
that.
it is. It sure is. Oh, what we want to determine
My-
is if it's handmade, that's all.
Let's see if I can clarify this.
Okay.
I tried to explain to Joy that the chain is there for one purpose and one purpose only. If you notice it carefully, there's only two types of chain: the box chain and the
Yes,
ingot
but I think
chain,
the
and
question,
different
I'm
length.
gonna,
Let me
I want to
finish
reply, no,
this.
just a moment. Her question was, do you make those chains? Do you make them?
It's a yes, no.
Yes or
Oh,
no?
the chain part, no. We
Okay.
can
That's
make
it.
them,
That's
but
it.
it
No,
takes
No,
too
not
much
what you
time.
can, it's a yes, no. Okay, please continue.
Okay, so I told her that the chain is actually part of the complimentary part that when the customer purchases the pendant, we give them that. But not
Okay.
everyone, it's a one size fits all. There's a reason why we got different length on there for them to swap it out if they want to.
You don't
So
sell
do
the
you,
chain.
so let me get this clear. So you sell the pendant and you give the chain as a gift?
Yes, it's
So
together.
it's not a sale?
No, it's but the thing is
But
that the chain, we have the chain hanging there different length for customer to choose to switch them. Like, because we provide only 18,
Right.
18-inch long. 18-inch long, it doesn't fit for everyone. So
Correct.
we
Was there a
supply
price tag on the chains?
price tag to show them the differences.
Well-
Because if they don't want it,
Okay.
I think I know why he's concerned. It's because some people.
You can continue.
It's
You
okay.
answered my
Some
question.
people are actually allergic to silver. Don't ask me why, but some people are.
I'm
and they
sorry,
get a
but
little
you
bit
asked, you
reaction.
answered my question. Were there price tags on it? You said yes, so let's move on.
That's what we
Thank
need
you.
to clarify that
Thank you.
because there's two type of chain. The one that we provide
Thank
is
you.
actually stainless
Okay,
steel.
You're out of order now.
Okay, let's move on. Yeah, let's be hospitable. We know that the chains are a part of the other product. The issue that we have is there is a lack of clarity on whether or not, so you know what whether or not you're selling the
Yes.
chains separately. That's the issue. That's what we're trying to figure out.
well, we're not selling the chain. Basically,
And-
it's not.
I'm
This-
sorry,
this
there was
chain
also the
right here
beaded
we
item.
make.
I know,
This
we'll
we
get to
don't
that.
make.
Yeah. I'm sorry, what did you say? I
There's
missed it.
actually one particular chain that
Okay.
we do make though. It's this one right here.
This chain right here we make. Yeah.
You make them?
This we make, but it's still together with the pendants.
Yeah, okay.
This we don't make. That's why it's complimentary. We're not gonna be.
You're not gonna sell them?
We're not gonna
Okay.
sell them.
Okay.
But it's for the customer
Okay.
to choose. But since we cannot display the chain, of course we're not gonna put it out there.
Okay. The other issue is with the beaded product, the
Beaded
the-
part, it's just we just put the string on it. It's really.
okay, the beaded products are not 75% handmade, according to, from what I can tell.
Okay.
I'm not a jeweler, but,
That's fine.
okay. So, do you make them? Do you,
No, not the beads, I'm sorry.
The-
She's asking about these bracelets.
Yeah,
What
those are
about-
casting.
Those must be cast.
It's the
They're
same-
cast, yeah.
It's the same casting. We just put.
Those are the lower end ones where we have
Yeah,
to put
no, I know.
crystals in them
Okay.
and
they're 75%
very
handmade.
expensive
I just want to make
stones.
sure, as staff we have to enforce it, so we want to make sure that everything that they're presenting is stuff that is approved, so that we can enforce it on.
Right, right. So the beads are not,
Yes.
okay? And what else is not besides the beads? The chains we just talked about,
The
correct?
chains being sold separately, but
If they're
based
sold
on the
separately.
fact that based on the fact that they are here today showing the lost wax method in every step that is
Mm-hmm.
required to it, it is feasible that that these products could be made, many of the castings at a time, and then putting the stone in. It is feasible, but a really lot of work.
Okay.
Hours and hours and hours of work.
Comment?
No.
Yes, just wanted to say how beautiful your pieces are, but I was
They're lovely.
concerned about the chains, and I got my answers, so
Okay.
thank you.
And did you have anything
Yes,
else?
I had a couple of questions.
Okay.
On your sterling silver 925 gemstone collection, you have one that has like these blue not sure what these are, but the blue, it's on a
Yeah.
bracelet. Do you actually make the chain,
The bracelet.
the bracelet on your sterling silver 925?
Yeah, these are casting.
Those are casting.
These are casting.
The bracelet, right? Yeah,
Right.
those are casting.
Yeah.
Blue bracelet.
Then on the next page, you have a chain that has well, the rings, the chains,
Yeah, the earrings.
those are all casting too?
Yes, those are all casting.
Okay. It could be.
What were the chain? Those are all casting. Yeah, those are casting.
Right.
Okay, on the other, under your sterling silver and the plain CZ collection, you have like little flower, a little
We saw the
pendant
mold.
and everything?
Yeah.
Those are all casting too?
Those are all
Yeah.
casting too.
We saw the mold.
Okay.
There's a mole right there, actually.
Okay, here's a mole.
Yeah.
The first one, it's a mole of the flower one.
Okay.
Okay. Is that it?
And I just, does she have receipts on sterling silver, her little sterling silver pads in her file? Receipts that she purchased them, the pads? Does she
I
have
don't know if
receipts
I
on those?
didn't, I have I don't know.
Oh. Oh, do you want us to give you the pads? Receipt?
Do you have a receipt for
I
purchase those?
didn't-
You didn't make those, correct?
Yeah, I didn't make those. No, not,
Oh, the
those are
pad,
just
no,
tags.
No, I'm very familiar with the jewelry and the jewelry mart in Los Angeles and other jewelry marts. And a lot of the times when you buy these little earrings, they come packaged with a sterling silver packet in a little box, and vendors or people buy them. So I just want to verify that.
I think this just gives customer a better
Oh,
clarity.
no,
on what they're
I just
buying.
wanted to
fine.
see the
That's fine.
receipts for that.
Right. Julie,
We
did you
do
have
not,
anything
we
to
can
add?
require them.
Okay, I'd like to require that. then.
Yeah.
Do you sell, with this quantity, do you sell anywhere else you can't possibly make a living off just the street fair?
Yeah,
You-
we have some
Yeah, we do.
You sell other,
Yeah.
This is our full-time job. That's why for you guys to ask
but you
us,
go
this
from
is a
fair to
lot of-
fair, or do you have different
I
fairs?
don't like the fair because it takes too many days and it cuts out my working time on this. So we try to do special events that require 1 day, 2 day, max 3 days. That's all we can have.
So you don't do College of the Desert or any of the other
No,
local
we
ones?
don't.
Okay.
And how are you doing out at the fair since you've been here? How have you been doing?
At ours.
Oh,
At the
ours.
Village
Doing
Fest?
okay?
That's actually give us a really good feedback because what customer wants really help us improve on our merchandise.
Okay.
That's why we were able to actually expand our 18 karat gold collection.
So is it working out for you at the
It's working
fair?
out,
Okay.
yes. I think the
Okay.
customer feedback is
So-
important to us.
Thank you. So here's where we are. The vendor came back to be rejuried. We've been given a step-by-step and a catalog of their products. We've discussed what we consider 75% handmade. We suggested 3 things. One, that the beads don't meet our criteria. 2, that the chains cannot be sold. And the 3 was something about the pads, and I didn't get that.
I'd like to see the receipts.
The receipts for the pads.
That would be an emotion.
That would be an emotion. So if somebody would like to make a motion to, yeah, let's make a motion so we can discuss that. And I'll wait for you to make the motion.
For discussion purposes, I'll make a motion to accept the vendor.
A second?
I'll second.
Okay, discussion. Go ahead.
Your jewelry is beautiful. Your jewelry is beautiful. I do have a problem with the amount. I mean, you'd have to have an army to make this amount. I've made
You know what,
jewelry.
we
I mean, wait, let
we
me-
get asked that on a lot of things.
Wait a
all the
minute,
time.
wait a minute. Let us discuss amongst ourselves. Then we'll
I'll let
talk
you
to
guys talk.
Okay.
I'm done.
And I have seen things online that really look a lot like this. And I think there's some merchants downtown that have voiced an opinion that they sell it, same thing, in their store, and they're not buying it from you. So that's the problem, and that's our dilemma, you know? I mean, your work is beautiful, but I have a problem with it being handmade by 2 people, or 3, if you put another person in. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Who
I
else?
have
Yeah, go ahead,
you
Phil.
can't specify between 1 or 2, they're partners, and they're making it together, so how could you?
She said they bring another person.
Third
And,
person.
and everybody has help when they do products, I can't see where that is that's not valid to me.
Well, I think it is, because it's not being 75% handmade by the two vendors. It's not being handmade by those vendors, and that person's not there at the booth. But that's how you determine it. If it's two people, it should be just two people, those two people. If it's going to be three people, it needs to have the three people. We have to know who those three people are.
Especially when they're making it, saying they're making it.
We have other vendors that have people that come work at the booth. We have other vendors that sell food, and that person's not always there. That came to street fair, so it's got to be across the board, good for one or good for all.
Basically, we do require the maker to be at the booth. I don't know, not so much with the food, I don't think with the food, but with any of the arts and crafts.
Arts and
we do
crafts.
require that.
Are you at the booth all the time?
Yeah, they're both there.
Yeah,
I see
well,
them.
Right, they're at the booth.
I was just explaining,
Yeah,
sorry.
we have this.
It's
I mean,
beautiful, another beautiful book.
Yeah, yeah, and I learned a little bit about jewelry today. Comments?
I made mine. I was just concerned about the chains, and I understand about them, so.
Okay, Ron, did you have anything else?
Yeah, I again, going back to that, when the business is good, they bring in extra people to help make the merchandise.
Right.
And yes, it's handmade, but it's not handmade by the artisan. That person, it sounds like, is not the artisan. I have a problem with the chains. I don't think they can put a price tag on a chain, even to show this is the value of that chain. There should be no price tag on it because it looks like you're selling it.
Isn't the motion that we approve this vendor without the chain and without the beads?
I'm having the discussion to the board that we have to make sure that if they're going to hang those chains, which I don't think they should have a tray underneath. And you're allergic, here's a chain that you can substitute. Oh, you want something longer? Here's a chain. But to have them out hanging like that looks like a mass merchandise, commercial made jewelry. So I have really some concerns about how they're made.
How about a signage that says, when you buy a pendant, you get a free?
Actually, we put it away. We put it away.
Right, they put it away.
When you
They do.
guys
Okay.
didn't want us to.
So-
Now that we cannot be
Putting a sign that says free chain with,
Okay, so there is a motion on the floor to approve this vendor with the exception of the chains and the exception of the beads, which are not 75% handmade. That's still on the floor. We're still having discussion. If anybody else would like to discuss, if not, we can close discussion and vote on it.
And part of the discussion is if we do accept them with the receipt for the backing, I still think they could be selling, if they're approved, sell the merchandise until we see that receipt. We don't have to.
I missed that, I'm sorry.
Okay, I requested the receipt to see the backings on the sterling silver, make sure that they did purchase them to put their jewelry on.
Of course.
If we do approve them, I still think they should be allowed to sell on the street until we get the receipt. If we do not get the receipt within a timely basis, then it should come off. They should not be allowed to sell.
Okay.
I'm just saying that, just
Right.
information to the board.
Yeah, no,
how I feel about
that's
it.
fair. Anybody else? No. Okay, I'm gonna call the question then. All in favor of approving this vendor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Raise your
Aye.
hand. Okay, raise your hand if you approve. Approve. 1, 2, 3, 4. Opposed? 1, 2, 3. It carries. I know. It carries. So, thank you.
We just need to see their receipts for
Yeah,
your backings.
talk to staff
Okay.
and, well, you know what you need to do and what you
I'll
can't
send
say.
it to her tomorrow.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
send it to
so,
her
yeah.
tonight, so-
Yeah, no. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
This is a complicated issue for us, not just with you, but with all,
Yeah.
with all the
Yeah.
jewelry vendors.
And I apologize if I got a little out of hand, okay?
We take it very
passionate.
seriously for,
No, because
I know, and we don't even get paid.
I just wanted to explain why we make so much because the magic part is the tree. That's why. I don't need to be rude, but I'm gonna need those packaged back because I
Yes,
need it
and
for my next festival.
They're wonderful.
I'm sorry, we're running
I hope that helps.
No.
Everyone understand.
We're gonna need one copy to be reviewed
Yes, please.
Yeah, leave my copy because I wrote on mine.
He just circled.
Just circle things.
Okay.
We're gonna leave a copy for the staff.
Okay.
Okay, and thank you for coming in.
Thanks.
We'll see you down there.
We'll,
Just,
we'll see you on the street, girls.
yeah, with that, with,
The argument, it just.
no, that's all right. Sometimes our family gets a little dysfunctional. Okay.
Ron needs to
I'm missing my page. What's,
Do I have your stuff?
no,
Oh,
no.
wait, maybe I have your stuff.
Did you take my, oh, here it is. No, this is February 27th. I need you. All right.
Is that it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Here,
We'll
I got
share.
mine.
No, I have it.
Oh, you got it? Okay, so what's the next one?
C.
5C
You're on the meeting.
is,
You're on minutes,
No.
I think. You're on minutes.
What's wrong with it?
this is wrong.
Minutes.
Those
You're
are
on
minutes.
5C.
Whatever was stapled.
I need to
Okay,
see
here.
because I don't have it.
Okay.
We're really not that
Probably
disorganized.
has it with her catalog.
Baloney.
Okay, 5C, actually, this sounds kind of nice. It's Vietnamese
Right, it's right
sandwiches.
there, Mike.
Tri-tran, huh?
That's right. Woohoo!
No, no, I don't have the other page. Okay. Hi, Mr. Tran.
Welcome.
How you doing?
Fine, thank you.
We had
Better
dessert-
now.
We had dessert before dinner.
Thank you.
We recover fast.
Yeah,
Just so you know, extremely nice.
too much sugar.
I don't have any sugar.
Oh,
This is loaded with sugar, are you kidding?
tell us what
Smells
you're
good. You
passing.
smell it? I smell garlic.
It's a shredded chicken sandwich.
Okay, the mic is what you need, honey. Yeah, please.
Okay, these are all the same, sir?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna let Mr. Tran talk about his product, and then we're not gonna interrupt him.
I don't know.
How you doing?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Welcome.
Okay, that's it. All
Well,
right.
you always get two.
Okay, tell us what's going on here.
Hand this down to
Okay,
Tina.
we have
Tina?
restaurants for about 5 years.
Oh, she's gone.
And we've been wanting to expand.
Uh-huh.
And
Right.
Palm Springs is just a great place for us. And VillageFest is
Great.
perfect for us. So I make a shredded chicken sandwich. You also have the egg roll and the fried wonton there.
Oh, very nice.
Okay. I'm not sure how familiar you are with Vietnamese sandwiches, but it has been really expanding and really popular across the country.
Uh-huh.
So
Smells wonderful.
hopefully, we can be successful and expand to maybe College of the Desert. So,
Is this, okay, did you have anything else?
no, go ahead.
I can go around. We'll start?
I'm good.
Okay, Ron?
Good.
Anything?
Yes. Where do you make the sandwiches? On the street?
Well, we prepare everything at the restaurant.
Yeah.
And then we
Okay.
bring everything, and then all we do is just fill the sandwiches, fill the
Okay.
orders.
Okay,
That was
and-
my question.
Okay,
Oh,
and,
it's
and my question
delish.
is, this is the size of the sandwich?
Right.
Yeah.
And do you,
walkable.
do you serve these other things as a garnish, or are you gonna sell those separately?
No,
or-
we sell them separately.
Okay, that's fine. Do either of those, do they need to be heated, or is that room temperature?
Well, we deep fry them, and we have a fryer.
No, I know that, but
yeah.
are you deep frying them on the street or back at the
in
restaurant?
In the streets.
On the street?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. That's
They
great.
have to. They have to.
Yeah.
Well, I know they have to.
So they're nice and hot when you order
Right.
it and get it.
Okay.
Excellent.
Question? You?
No, I have no questions.
Dottie?
Thank you.
No question. Very good.
Okay, would somebody like to make oh, here's the booth if you guys haven't seen.
Okay.
Would somebody like to make a motion to approve?
Yes, I'll make a motion that we accept this sandwich at the vendor's booth.
And the wonton and the egg roll.
Yeah.
Are you
Okay.
selling drinks and things as well?
We do sell Vietnamese iced coffee.
Oh,
There.
yummy.
Right.
Love that.
You should sell water too.
Yeah, we have water and I guess canned sodas.
I am.
You should sell water.
Okay.
You can always make money selling water.
Okay.
Before
Right.
we vote, can I just read the?
You sure can. Okay. It smells so wonderful. No, no, this is different.
We don't have anything in a shop either.
No.
Delish.
While Ron's, this is for the food court, is that right? It's for the food court? Okay.
It's just like such a nice walkable food here, the
it
way
is.
that
It's
it's
great.
prepared and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it would be really, really good for the event.
Right. Well, are you going to be using these clamshells?
No, actually, that's
They're
just what you
expensive.
guys would-
Okay, that's fine. Because these are expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you just take that, unwrap it. Yeah. Like a hot dog, good to go.
Yeah, they're approved by the food service.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
You had a motion, but I don't know if you.
There was a
seconded
motion
it.
to approve.
I'll
She
second it.
moved, you second.
Okay.
We had discussion. Any more discussion? Tina?
Nice.
All in favor?
Aye.
It carries.
Bye.
Welcome,
Good.
and see ya.
We will see you at your booth on the
Don't
street.
encourage it. Don't encourage it.
My mouth full.
You're looking for trouble. Okay, Sun Community FCU, Stephanie Gutierrez. And Stephanie Gutierrez is a commercial distributor for information. Hi.
Hi.
Talking to
Good
the mic.
afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Stephanie Gutierrez, and I'm with Sun Community Federal Credit Union. In 2013, they took over Palm Springs Federal Credit Union, which was for the city employees. We used to be located in the maintenance yard over here on Civic, and in August of last year, we relocated to Vistachino, 1717 East Vistachino. So really what I'd like to do, we're not going to be selling anything. We're going to go out there and hand out giveaways and flyers on the services that we offer, and what we're really looking for is to become more of a community-involved credit union. So I'm hoping that that will give us the visibility that we would need. So this is our first time here, and we'd like to be approved to attend a VillageFest event.
Okay, let's go around.
I'm fine.
No, I'm fine. I drove by, or they're over by the Stater Brothers in that shopping
Yeah,
center.
yeah.
And I saw them there at the end, and I saw, well, credit union, I hope, at the very end, I hope they do some promotions to it. So this is great that you're using us as a.
Thank you.
Yes,
You good? Which mic?
What if I'm mumbling and you didn't want
I have a question for you.
Sure.
Are credit unions nonprofit groups? They're not for profit, are they?
But they don't hold a 501c. And that's what you would need to be a
Yeah.
vendor, a nonprofit vendor with VillageFest.
Okay.
They could be
All right.
nonprofit.
I'm trying to save you
but-
money, but I can't. Okay, I don't have any questions.
Thank you.
I have nothing.
Nothing? Tina? Okay, somebody make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we accept Sun Community Credit Union at VillageFest.
I'll second.
Okay, all, discussion? None. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It carries.
Okay. Thank you.
We will
And
see you
there's
on the
some gifts
street.
and some information in here. Great.
Great, thank you.
Diamond rings.
Right.
Yeah.
Keys to the Lexus, yeah. Okay, our next guest is Primetime Phillies, it's Derek Pine, food service. Hi, Mr. Pine, thank you for coming.
Nobody's having dinner.
And this is Philly cheesesteaks, chicken Philly, nachos, soda, and water. I'm so glad you're selling water. There's money in water.
Hey, welcome.
First, I just did our regular Philly cheesesteak and our regular chicken Philly. Has bell peppers and onions, the norm. That out for you. Yes. Chicken right here in the foil. Then our regular steak is right here. Like I said, my name's Derek Pine. I'm a local native here. Been here for 39 years. Graduated from Palm Springs High School all the way up. We've been in the business for a little over 6 years now, just doing local booths like the JBRL, Toys for Tots, the 29 Palms, Street Fair up there. And I'm just ready to tackle big, go bigger here. Y'all have always been to the street fair and said, man, I'm going to have me a booth here one day. And now I feel I'm ready. I got all my ducks in a row, and I think the food's pretty good. Did my homework down there. Nobody's selling Philly cheesesteaks, so I said, hey, here's my shot.
Now, I have to tell you, I'm from the Philadelphia area, so I know
There we go.
cheesesteaks.
Okay.
Do you have a store?
No store.
Oh,
We've
you
just
need a
been
store.
doing all
This
booths.
stuff is great.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go around. Questions?
No questions, smells great.
Smells
great.
Thank you.
Dottie?
I have no questions. I'm going to taste it in a minute.
Right.
Okay, that's
Dottie's
good,
from
that's
Philadelphia,
good.
so she's our gold standard for cheesesteaks. So
Okay.
Here, take that.
she's been to Pat's, South Philly.
Pat's steak.
Pat's Steaks.
The sauce is made by me. I've been making it myself. Been tinkering with it here now probably about 3 years.
Okay. Where else are you selling these?
Oh, we've mainly been doing the JBRL. It's a local Palm Desert track, little RC car track in Palm Desert, and we did there once, and all the customers liked it, so they booked me for all of their events.
Oh, how nice.
Yeah, and then the last one we just did was the Black History Parade, and that's kind of what gave me the ump, because a different variety of people got to try it, and everybody said, "Man, why aren't you at the street fair?" So
It's very, very.
I said, "Okay, I'm going for it."
It's pretty good.
Pretty good. All right. It's been sitting there for about an hour though, so.
The difference with anything from Philadelphia is their bread.
Yeah.
Because their water is terrible, but it makes good bread.
Yeah, it's just don't
No,
drink
true.
it. Just
Okay.
don't drink it. Go ahead.
I've known Derek since he was little.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say how proud I am of you.
Thank you.
And
very nice.
looking forward to having you at the picnic next year.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
thank you.
Go ahead.
Oh, I wanted to know where you do your cooking.
Well, it was gonna be. I know we have to do it down at the street, so everything's gonna be made fresh right there.
Right there.
All of
Okay.
the onions,
And-
bell peppers, everything chopped up.
And assembled right in front of your
It's going to
customer.
smell great.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful.
You have nachos?
Yes.
Nachos?
Yes.
He wanted that for his appetizer.
Okay.
Okay.
We came up with the primetime nacho, a little something different, because everybody has a carne asada nacho.
Right.
So we figured keep everything with the food that we're using, so it's not so much.
So-
We're gonna do a Philly nacho.
Good, okay. That was my question, because I want to make sure it's different from the
Yes,
other nachos.
yes,
Good,
it's a Philly
thank you.
nacho.
Thank you, and good luck.
So I was going to make a motion
Sure.
for Primetime Phillies food service for the VillageFest.
Okay.
Oh, please let me second it. I would be happy to do that. Thank you, thank you. I second
Discussion?
that. I just love when we see local people that were
Me too.
born and raised here in Palm Springs come up and do
Do
this
it.
stuff. Yeah, love that. And it's delicious.
It's a
so.
great product.
Thank
All in
you.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
We're gonna see you on
Yeah,
the street.
looking forward to
Yeah,
it.
come down there. We have the special one. It's called a primetime Philly. You gotta come try it free on the house.
No. We're not allowed, but thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
I've never had a Philly.
No. Let's save you a trip.
Ever had a Philly before?
Old Mexico Arts and Crafts, Victor Chavez Magana. Did I louse up your name? Almost. And it's handmade garden art, and I was looking at it when we came in. It's absolutely
Welcome.
beautiful. So, welcome. If you could pick up that small microphone and talk to us.
Okay. My name is Victor Hugo Chavez Magaña with the N. And I have like 18 years working with metals and making different kind of things for the gardens. We work with rocks. We make the first rocking mobiles. Now we are making. This is new. No, nobody have it. It's the idea.
love it.
We are the only ones. We make it with recycled bottles. Now we are using bases and beer bottles, and sometimes the persons bring their special bottles to make the crafts. And we make it either with the little ants. The people, I don't know why, but the people love the ants.
That is great.
Always trying to make things to make nicer the houses, to make it something beautiful things. And And now it's very hard to make surprise the person, no, because there's many things on the market, and so it's very hard to do things to surprise it. But maybe each 3 years I make something, the people get surprised, no. But with so many years working, so we have lots of different designs.
There's a vase in the middle.
It's a vase, right?
Yeah, it's a way.
And we made the sheet metal.
How do you make it stick? How do you make it stick to the metal?
We make the frame. We make a little wire. You don't see because the people don't see the frame, no. But this is the little wire we make first around. So we first need to drawing the barrel and then make the wire, and then we weld the wire to the barrel. Something is very hard because we broke lots of barrels because the heat on the glass get broke. So, and then we have a plasma cutter to make the shapes. We use the scissors either to make these beautiful runners. And
what's the price range?
The price range is like $50. We have things of 30 to for the fishes.
No, the roses.
Well, the marketing is more. James think more about the marketing. I don't like to go to the shows until I more like go and make the things but those are like $60, no, 50. We have some ones this big.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, that big. And the other year I have the pleasure to work on the Memorial Park on Coachella. I make the fountain. The fountain with the stainless steel stars because we make real. Well, this art, but we try to keep the prices down so the people can buy it. But we make art either. Because in the Coachella, I make the raising the flag, a little picture like that, 3 feet by 3 feet, and you can see there because they make the whole remodelation there, and we make that the raising the flag.
All right. Let's work our way while he's bringing the burro over.
The donkey.
The burro.
See, the man can use a bottle of tequila in here.
Tequila.
I have one like that.
Now
I have
the
a iron,
ladies
but
might
mine
give you
has a
some
pink
hint. You can put a plant in here and another cacti or whatever.
Okay. Let's go around and Tina, did you have any questions or comments?
It's fantastic. I love it.
I do too. Dottie?
Very, very well done. I think they're great pieces. I have to buy one.
Thank you.
Okay.
I've seen.
We can't say this, but we can give it to them.
No, you cannot.
No, it's not allowed.
He knows he could say it though.
Oh
'cause
my
he
God.
can't accept it.
Oh my God.
You're funny.
Okay.
So I do want to say I've seen a lot of metal work. Nothing like these. And
No, they're
I
very,
love
very nice.
They're very whimsical, and I don't know who drinks all the liquor here to make these, but
The
give me a
customers.
call, I'll come visit.
Explain that. Sorry to interrupt you. I go around bars. This, I got it at Boston Bar.
I go around
Very
bars
nice.
too.
But she's not making metal.
That's cute.
Can make two of us.
Well, okay then.
Joy
Yeah,
will help
they're
you
just,
collect.
they're fascinating, and I love that, you know, a lot of them have movement in them. These are just super unique ones, and really, I've seen a lot of metal work like this, like in LA and, you know, at shows, and nothing like this, so
No,
it's very
it's-
unique,
It's-
beautiful.
It's beautiful
Really
stuff.
beautiful.
My only concern, it's not a big concern, is I want to make sure your booth looks as gorgeous as these, because what I saw there, it's a little mezclado. So
Correct.
what, you're going to work on that and have a nice sign
Yes.
for the business? Okay, because you guys are artists.
My question is, all three of you do different things on the pieces?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm the one that gets the spaces and go to different areas and find the proper places to sell this. I mean, I don't want to sound like, but everywhere I go, people love this stuff.
Oh,
I can see. I can see why. Yeah.
and I get repeat customers that call me.
Sure.
And,
Yeah.
you know, it's,
They're so
I must be
gifty.
doing something right.
I'd love to get a
Good.
gift.
Ron, did you have any comments?
No, I'll make a comment under discussion.
Okay. Julie?
Nope, beautiful. I think we should vote.
Okay, somebody want to make a motion? Did you want to make a motion?
Sure, I make a motion that we accept this vendor at the street fair.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, discussion, Ron?
Okay. I think they're wonderful. Several years ago, we had a store that would complain about a vendor that made similar things that you do, and that. Well, I'm sorry. We'll go back. I'm glad to see some very unique metal work, because we do have a current vendor who does metal work, we've had him rejuried, he does it on his own, because there were complaints from some downtown retailers that they were made in Mexico and they were purchased and imported. And I sort of question it too, but he's there, he is the designer. We want to make sure that designers are there. So the three of you would be there, or at least two of you would be there to talk to our visitors, explaining how they're made, they're handmade, because they're so unique and so interesting. I think they're great. So I have no concerns with them being a duplicate vendor, metal vendor downtown.
Any other comments? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Thank you.
We will see you on the street,
Yeah, with all your
fellas.
animals.
Yes, thank you
Look
so much.
forward.
We appreciate you.
You bet.
We'll take a couple of real special pizzas. Will be a pleasure.
Thank you.
Oh, good, thank you.
I have 2 plants on my patio that I cannot grow.
I don't really go to bars.
See?
It was fun.
Bars come to you.
I go to Julie's.
Okay.
Just beautiful.
Okay.
I like them all. My garden's full.
Sorry, I'm trying to say it all the way.
Oh, go ahead. Go talk to her.
Cannabis development.
Yes, it is, and I thank you for letting me share.
Yeah,
I don't know
sure.
where mine is. I think
I don't either.
Not me.
Right.
Home smart professionals, huh?
Thank you.
How nice.
We know where to find you. Okay. Steve Thornberry. Where's Steve? Steve's all the way in the back. Thank you for waiting all this time. Listen to our Michigas. Commercial vendor, he's promoting business, and I have no idea what the business is, so come talk to us.
Hey, welcome.
Thanks for your time.
Do you know?
My name
Welcome.
is Steve Thornberry, and I'm a realtor in Palm Springs, and I'm a resident in Palm Springs. My children went to Desert College, College of the Desert. My wife is an insurance agent. We both volunteer in the community. She volunteers at the animal shelter, No Kill Shelter, every Saturday. So just giving you an idea that I'm a community person, and I moved here 3 years ago from West Hollywood. Thank God I'm here.
Welcome.
So, I work for HomeSmart Real Estate. It's a fast-growing real estate agency in Palm Springs. It's a franchise. They have one in La Quinta and one in Rancho Mirage. And I would like to bring the good word of HomeSmart to the street fair in the commercial area, show visitors, people looking for real estate, people interested in real estate in Palm Springs. I'd like to show them listings, the area, and what a wonderful place Palm Springs is to live in. Mitzi is a mortgage broker, and she will be with me, and I'll be doing the real estate, and she will be explaining mortgages to maybe potential customers.
Okay, thank you. Did you want to talk to us? Okay.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Welcome.
I'm Mitzi, and I am actually the part of the group Movement Mortgage, and we are the in-house lender for HomeSmart. And so we're very fortunate to partner with our realtors here in the Coachella Valley. And so what we would be doing is offering information to the community on all of the services that we provide, all of the loan products that we can make available for them to get into their dream home here.
Okay, perfect.
Very
Okay.
good.
Does anybody have any questions? Somebody make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we accept HomeSmart into VillageFest as a commercial vendor.
I'll
Okay.
second.
Okay, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It carries.
Welcome.
Welcome.
There, you're ready. I know. I saw. He's totally ready for it.
We saw you laughing at us on
The
our
rest of them
jewelry.
wore you down.
Yours is easy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yours
After
is
the
an
jewelry,
easy.
I was going to walk out. I'm like, no
You're
way.
not selling jewelry, right? Okay.
Okay,
We're good.
You people need these?
No, no,
I did, you know,
no,
We'll get them from you. Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know where to find you.
Do I need any paperwork or?
Faithful.
Okay.
She'll take care of you.
Come another
Thank you for
time.
coming in, Steve. Fun Under the Sun, Maria and Ed Gomez, Arts and Crafts. These are cooling hats and bandanas. Hello.
Welcome.
I should have eaten lunch before I came.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It smells really good.
You all may have seen this product before. In fact, I'm sure you have. Bob Martinez was doing these, and last summer I approached him after buying both of these products from him several years ago. I loved him so much I wanted to work with him and learn the business, and he was gracious enough to show us the business.
Wow.
He's not been around. His plans have changed, and so he's kind of told me it was okay to take over this area. I live here, and I think he's going to Lake Havasu. At least that was his plans. But Bob was very, very kind to show me the business. For those of you who have not seen the business, basically it's just 2 items that I'm going to be doing. I don't know if he did more than 2 items, but one is a hat, one is a bandana. You've seen the regular paisley bandanas. Oh, yes, sorry. Paisley bandanas, he was doing before with a 20 by 20, and I may have one here, but I'm doing them with a 22 by 22, make them a little bit bigger. We fill them with polymer crystals, and so they hold a little bit more polymer crystal, and it stays cooler longer. Once you activate the polymer crystal in water, you just basically, you soak this in water for 20 minutes, and it swells up. I've got one here. It swells up, and then whatever temperature you expose it to, either via refrigerator or on ice, freezer, it takes on that temperature, and it stays that temperature for quite some time. Let's take this one out of the bag. Now this one I've been using I've had it in this bag in the refrigerator on and off for about 3 months. They last a long time. It's based on evaporation, so as long as you keep it cool, it does not evaporate, and it maintains the same shape and coolness. And they're dry. It's cold, but it's dry. Now that one I did have in the refrigerator for a long time. We're going to make different sizes also. This one, as you know, VillageFest is very dog friendly. Very dog friendly, and I've had people say, you know, they're walking their Chihuahua with them through the fest and say, that's too big. So I'm kind of experimenting with little smaller ones. That one will fit a Chihuahua. So I'll have probably 3 or 4 different sizes for pets as well.
Now you do the sewing.
Yes, ma'am. Basically, we start with a standard 20 by 22 bandana. Okay. We have the crystal polymers come like this.
Ooh, God.
Okay. And let's see if I can explain how I do this with one of these. I I went to Ralph's once I spoke with Bob and he was okay with this and he was leaving. I went to Ralph's and I took a class, a sewing class. Because it's basically just straight line sewing. There's nothing fancy about it. But and you know, I didn't have my own sewing machine in years before, you know, since I saw my mother sewing at the kitchen table. So I went to Ralph's and I took a class basically. I basically first you iron it in shape. Okay, then you start by sewing straight across the top, dividing the top portion that goes around your neck to the bottom part. And you can't quite see it, but there's 4 straight stitches straight across here. Polymers are right there. So once you sew that part and these, you sew straight across here, right, just following the line basically of the bandana. Then you take your little scooper. And that's exactly the measurement. A heaping scoop of this on this side and one down on that side and then close it up. And there's your bandana.
Yeah.
And the next part would be just we sell them just like this with instructions what to do at home with them. But basically it's just soaking it in water for 20 minutes. And then you keep them in a baggie like I did. I took that one out of the baggie. Because some people like myself, I'll use mine every other day. Every time I go out in the garden or riding a bike or whatever outside in this heat, you know, I just take it out of the refrigerator and it's ready to go. You don't have to continually soak it over and over and over. But if you leave these outside for several days, they will return to that form.
Really?
They don't go bad. You just soak them again.
Yeah, sure.
I use it's a USDA grade polymer that I found online. It's the same thing they use for diapers and things like that. Very absorbent. So.
How about the hats?
The hats. Hats are basically it's called a boonie fishing hat.
Does it have polymer in it too?
And they,
No.
We put polymer. Well,
It doesn't have polymer
that's
in
just
it,
your
does it?
basic boonie fishing hat with the flap in the back, sun protection. Okay, what I do is sew in a little Velcro on the top, and a little Velcro in the back.
He's going to put the polymer in the hat.
And then I use a plain black bandana for these. I get 2 of these out of one bandana, and I get 4 of these out of a bandana. So same theory, it's just sewing straight across like that, and once around here. And there's the back end, I sew on a piece of Velcro. This one goes on the back. So once you soak it, it gets nice and filled and cool. Then it goes on the back. And this one goes on the top. And I sell these individually too. Have plenty of motorcycle guys want this one, and gals want this one to put inside their motorcycle helmet. Keeps it okay. And you can actually freeze these. They don't drip. You can see that one that's being passed around. It's kind of, it's not wet, it's not dripping, but they actually, if you expose it to a little bit of sun or a little bit of heat, it actually gets dry. It stays cold, but it's dry as well. So you can put this on your head, okay, or underneath your helmet, and it's not going to drip and get all gooey or whatever.
Would you ever consider marketing those to people that wear bicycle helmets?
We do all the time. We get people to buy, like I say, not just motorcycle helmets, but people that do bicycling. I've had people approach me and ask me, well, can you sell this individually to me? And, you know, I do. I sell these by themselves.
Okay.
You can wear this
It's
underneath any helmet.
Yeah, bicycle.
Yeah, I'm thinking bicycle helmets.
Riding helmet.
Yeah, baseball hat, sure.
Some people don't like this hat, for example.
Yeah.
They don't want this hat. They like their baseball hat. They like their other thing. So they'll just buy the insert.
Yeah, sure.
But they both sell really well, and I get really good reception on both.
Even a yarmulke.
Yeah.
That's what I said
Right.
to Mike.
Oh, yeah, there you go. I didn't think about that.
For the high holidays.
Spending all day at the Wailing Wall again.
That is amazing.
And stay cool and say a prayer.
At home that I was to get sewn.
I know.
So he makes the best straight line.
Well,
It's fabulous.
and yeah, well, you're just following the line of
Yeah.
the ones that are hard are the ones that like this that don't have the lines. Those are difficult. You got to really pay attention.
Now, you said you took a sewing class at Ralph's?
Yeah.
Ralph's.
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
sewing.
oh, okay.
They sell sewing machines.
Oh, okay.
They don't
I
sell
thought
milk.
I thought maybe I got confused with me thinking Michael's.
No, not that Ralph. Different Ralph.
Because I like what he's doing.
Yeah. Does anybody have
In
any
the vegetable department.
any questions, comments?
I think this is a great product for even women that are going through menopause. When you have hot flashes to put around your neck, it's great.
Okay.
I used to use.
Yeah,
in the old days, you have to use washcloths and put
Right,
them in the
you put it-
freezer
yeah,
and
yeah,
put them around.
yeah.
They didn't have anything like this.
I have.
I won't put this on right now, but once you put it on this way, like you're saying, it goes right across your carotid artery.
Yeah.
Across the neck, and it is
I purchased the bandanas from the previous vendor, and I still have them, and I use them when I was horseback riding. I'd put them on there. Now that as a crossing guard in the afternoons on summers, I put them on, and it helps so much.
Okay.
They really do. It really.
Well, who would like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept Fun Under the Sun.
And I'll second it.
Okay.
And I will tell you, I wear mine at Fit After 50, 3 days a week.
Oh, fantastic,
Okay.
wonderful.
Move, seconded, discussion?
I do want to just say one thing.
Yeah.
So, I know that there could be some questions at some point regarding the hat because
know.
the hat itself is
Yeah.
purchased. But I think that what he does to the hat changes the hat into a completely different item
Oh, yeah,
than where
for
it
sure,
started from.
for sure.
Because otherwise I would have trouble with it. But
I agree.
I think he
Yeah,
transforms
he's really
it
selling
into-
the cooling system and
Yeah.
not the hat.
No,
I
yeah.
think that's the
Correct.
important thing.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried.
So much.
Thank
We will
you.
see
It's
you on
great
the
product.
street.
Very
Looking
nice
Yes,
product.
thank
forward.
you. I look forward to it.
Okay. The last one is Desert Dance, but are you, no, you're not Desert Dance. I don't think Desert Dance is here. They're absent, so they can come by another time. We're always home. All right. And while he's cleaning that up, we're gonna talk about unfinished business. And unfinished business is smoking signage. I thought that was finished, but it's never finished.
No.
How long have we been working on that, Tina?
Years.
2 years?
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
a couple months.
Yeah, it has been. So what do we need to do?
I think I received feedback from everyone, maybe except for Joy. So I'll resend, take a look at them, and let me know if you have any thoughts on it. And
I'm sure that they're fine.
okay.
Right,
Then
let's
I may
just move out
go and
on
order
it.
some.
Very confident.
Go order some.
Okay.
Good job, Tina.
I will order them tomorrow morning.
They are great.
Oh, I'm sorry, honey. These are yours.
Tina, very good. They're nice, all
Okay.
nice.
All right, thank you for that.
Have we seen them? Are they already printed is what?
No. What I sent you was just the mock-up that I
Yeah.
asked them to
And
do
the
to see if I
slogans.
could get some feedback, and everyone got back to me.
Yeah.
So I will
Okay.
order them.
Okay.
That's, okay.
Yeah.
All right, you have something else?
Just, my friend Josh is in marketing, and he looked at the picture, and he's the one that came up with the suggestion.
Awesome. Yes, I
Yeah.
did get it.
Thank
to
you.
do. Thank you.
Thank Josh.
Thank you for taking the time. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
New business, it looks like there isn't any. Does anybody have any new business? Monkey business? Okay, reports and requests, public. Look who's here. You have nothing to talk to us about? Okay.
Be on board member.
Okay,
Are we in trouble?
no, maybe, you never know.
Maybe he's here for viewing the board for a membership
I
on the
hope.
board.
We don't know.
You don't know?
We'll
If he is,
find out.
that's thank
Okay,
you.
board comments, 5-minute limit. Anybody have any comments?
Thanks for coming to the picnic.
Yeah.
It was a good picnic.
It was
They ran
good.
out of food.
Oh, the food was wonderful, Joy.
I wouldn't know.
I know.
Were we
I
out?
wouldn't know. We were out, and I'm going to suggest to 1PS that I would rather have extra and take it over to the cops or the fire department or Mizell than run out of food. I don't care if it's free.
Yeah.
And next time an upscale restaurant has hot dogs that they're going to offer, tell them they cannot exhibit. That's what I'm going to tell them. They already know that. They did not do themselves any favor.
They did not, and
People
that
were
was
really
the vendor
upset.
that we used to have.
I know,
As
they
the
had great
only
stuff.
vendor, and I did not invite him back last year. So this year, I thought, I'm gonna invite, I felt kind of bad about it.
Sure.
So, we did get a lot of complaints about that particular food vendor. We did serve 800 meals.
That's great.
And
It was beautiful
so
food
We
with what
thought
they
that
had.
that would be enough, but next year we'll go to 1,000.
You know,
I'll
it's
tell
a
you who
crapshoot.
later.
Yeah, it's a crapshoot. But it was a lovely picnic, and I know you and the committee worked very hard on it. And,
Thanks.
It was a
We
great
like it.
turnout. It was great weather, wasn't it? It
Yeah.
wasn't
Perfect.
It was
wasn't
windy
too
though.
hot.
Windy.
I paid
Windy,
extra for
windy,
that
yeah.
good weather, though.
Yeah,
That was extra.
Any other board comments?
I have a comment.
Okay.
Because of the birthday party, I was at VillageFest. The week before, I was at VillageFest, and another week, I forget. So I've been down there several times. And I think it's time that we revive our subcommittee on compliance issues. So we don't have issues like we had today. And again, I apologize if I got a little heated on that because I apologize. But I gave staff a list of probably 6 vendors that I felt that are not in compliance. One was the Awesome Polish. They are a distributor. They buy their products from a wholesale company. And they are under arts and crafts. They don't make the product.
What do they do?
They do that awesome polish. You remember they did the chrome that you polished it in the glass in the bathtub? I remember asking them distinctly, do you make your product? And they said yes. Well, they don't. They use awesome polish. They even say on their website, we represent awesome things. So they're not, and they're under arts and crafts, I believe, right?
I'm not sure, I'll have to look that up.
Under arts and crafts, yeah. So, and they're out of Pasadena, I think, and I think that's why I thought, it's okay. There was a vendor, the Eucalyptus Therapy has a rolling massage that they sell. They don't make it, and they told me they don't make it. So I explained to them that anytime you enter a new product, you have to come to the VillageFest board, and they were aware of it. They're, I guess, planning on doing it. And I suggested that do it as a gift with purchase, so they could still have it to offer. There was and I forget the name of the vendor, but they do copper bracelets for health. We rejuried them, and they have now come back with gold chains that they don't make. And we told them before to take it off. But again, because I don't think we have really a compliance, people going down there.
Yeah.
Or they're new members that maybe didn't realize what was happening. So I think we need to rejury them. There was, the Colombian seeds. They make the jewelry out of the Colombian seeds. I was looking at it, and we've rejuried them, and they took away products because they weren't handmade. They're now, they're really very cute. They're like little bags, hard leather bags, with the lid or top is this really colorful picture of an owl or a bird or something. And I asked him, are these handmade, or who makes these? And he said, well, I stitch the bag, but I buy the colorful part from Colombia. They come from Colombia, and I don't think they make the 75%. Went online, and they actually state that they're from South America. They're handmade in South America.
Yeah, the whole bag.
Well, I don't know if the whole bag, but a lot of their products, their bracelets, state that they're handmade in South America. So I think they should be rejuried. Do I have any other ones on that?
Toe rings?
The jewelry,
Yeah.
silver plating?
Oh, the pewter, the Mexican pewter. Remember we had, and they gave those?
Yeah.
Well, again, I was amazed at all the items that they have in their booth. So I went into the booth and I turned them over, and they have these little stamps. Now, I don't speak Spanish or don't read Spanish, but it said something Mexico, and they're little peel-off things.
HO in Mexico.
So, yeah, what is this?
HO, made.
Yeah, I think that's what it said. So I asked the vendor, who makes these? And she said, because I said it's made in Mexico, she said, my family.
Okay.
And again, we can go back. Her family could be 10 people, or it could be brother and sister, aunts and uncles, and there's 100 people making them in Mexico, and then she's importing them. So again, I think that person should be rejuried. And what else was there?
Organic necessity?
Yeah, the one with the oils.
No. What was it?
They make the balls.
Oh, right. Remember
But
the?
they're under farmer's market.
Right.
Yeah. So they're fine if they're not at their booth.
Okay, because I remember that it was a young lady, or that was the mother, and who started making them for her daughter or something. We were all.
What was it?
There were the wool balls you put in the dryers, and
yeah.
the seeds and everything, and we decided that we'd put them into the farmer's market. But she wasn't there. The 3 times I saw it was there, and so I was wondering, is it if that is under farmer's market, do the craftsmen have to be there? And the answer is no. So they had 2 people. But are these 2 people?
They weren't in farmer's market when I went 2 weeks ago.
Well, they're not in.
They're not in there, but that's what
they're under their category.
category.
Are they distributors then? And see, this just goes back to the awesome polish. They're a distributor, and we don't allow distributors to be in VillageFest. So these were just some things I wanted staff to look into, and that's why I think it's time that we establish that compliance.
Thank you for bringing that up. Since we're on that subject, I'm going to ask your help on this. The grader, yeah,
second
him.
grader, not the one that's come back and he always brings back a new item.
Yeah.
But the second grader, it says made in USA. It says made in USA, and I went to their website, and the website is a distributor, wholesaler, retailer.
What, his website?
Well, the website that he has on the bottom.
Yes.
And it doesn't say where they're made or anything, so I question he's going to a ceramic manufacturer.
Okay.
Because the website that they have is a online retailer and wholesaler.
Here's my question to staff. You have, as we all know, none of us are shrinking violets, a very proactive board. What is the procedure that we should be following when we find things out like Ron has found out or any of us have found out? Because the last thing I want to do is dilute your effectiveness or your power. It's one thing for any and all of us. We should be going around to these vendors and taking pictures and writing things around. But when it comes to talking to the vendor as a VillageFest board member, I question whether or not that is within our purview. I don't think it is. If it is, I need to know about it.
What Ron did was actually correct. So he
Okay.
wrote a report of what he saw on the
Okay.
street and sent it into staff. So from there, our responsibility is to follow up on all of the complaints that we received, which we will do, which we try and do the following week when we do receive a complaint, and address it on the street with a verbal warning. If something is completely egregious, we can absolutely bring them back, which we received a lot of complaints about the vendor who was here earlier today, which to avoid continuing receiving complaints, not just from board members, but community members, merchants downtown, we asked them to come back. We didn't do the typical verbal, written, and then you come back to the board. We just said, we need you to come back to the board to be reviewed. But for future, yes, as a staff person, we appreciate the fact that you want to clarify that. We as staff are responsible for dealing with the issues with the vendors. So if you see something, it is not your responsibility to say, that is not approved,
Yeah.
take it down right now. You can call from the booth and say, hey, Faith or Jasmine, can you come down here? I'd like to address this with you. And we'll come down, or you can write something up. You can call us, you could text us. Obviously, one of us is always on the street, and we're happy to address it on site if we have that ability. And if we don't have that ability, if we get something in writing, it is dealt with the following week.
So as long as everybody understands that it is not, we do not have the authority to go in there and say anything, and we can ask how it's made and all that stuff.
Question.
But that's as far as it goes, and then if we have a problem or issue, it must go to staff so that they can kind of coordinate it. Now, okay, hold off on that question for you had suggested that we create a committee or
We
a
had
task.
a subcommittee that was a compliance subcommittee.
Do you want to
Correct.
reinstitute that?
Well, I think it's a good idea because
I
they
do too.
can't be on the streets looking at all the vendors
No.
and everything.
No,
They
no,
can't
no,
be the eyes and ears.
I don't think your mic's on again. You're saying important stuff.
Yeah, we need to get it on record.
Okay, they don't have the time to look. I mean, I was there for the full, from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock looking at it, and I didn't get to all the vendors. But having the subcommittee, it gives us at least one other person or two other people or three of us as going through to talk about it, to see. And then we can make the references to the issues or concerns to the staff. So I think and we did it changed quarterly. I think we are doing.
Julie, did you have a comment?
Not only with Jasmine, you guys have so much to do and you do a great job at what you do. It's the fact that even if she warns them, somebody needs to do the
Follow-up,
follow-up to
very-
make sure,
yeah.
because when she's warned them, they'll maybe adhere to it, maybe not. So there needs to be follow-up paperwork to go back 2 weeks later and follow up on that vendor.
Okay, so do we want to reinstitute or re-energize the subcommittee that we call, what did you call it? Compliance?
Compliance.
Compliance
It was the compliance
subcommittee?
subcommittee.
Right, who would like to be on that committee?
Me.
I'll be on it.
Three,
since I'm sorry.
okay, is that good?
Can I ask you
yeah.
about something though? What if, instead of having a compliance subcommittee that did the whole event, what if we had three, I'm thinking it as I'm saying it, okay? What if we had three different ones? So like one took like from Andreas to Tockwitz, and then one took from Tockwitz to Arenas, and then some, or however that all breaks down, and then Arenas to Bristow. So we just each have a little section that we're keeping an eye on, and we could become more aware of who those people are so that we can follow up on them better.
Okay.
Because if we do the whole event, you're not gonna get back around again maybe for even
Well,
a few weeks.
You want to be on it, you guys want to be on it, and ladies, we have a what and we have a how. You just did a how, and we're still talking about the what. The what, we agree we're going to establish a subcommittee. You three are on it. You can decide how you want to do it. And if you want, and I hope you will, give us some assignments and say, why don't you take that block, near Tyler's or whatever. However you want to do it.
Okay.
And we'll help you. It's not something that should
you.
just fall on the three of
I
you.
like that idea, and it means that.
You tell us what you
I'd
need us
like to have
do.
a support person when I'm doing it too, so
Yeah.
I may
Right.
say, let's,
And I'd
Dottie-
like to walk with Ron so
Right,
that
we can do that. Or
Yeah, it's
Dottie.
kind of
he
fun to
teaches
do it
me
together.
more.
Right,
Yeah.
and Dottie, I want you to come with me, because.
Well, we've done it before. I mean,
so
this.
You have.
Yeah, I mean,
Just as long as
we've
there's
caught a
just
couple
no more than
people,
three.
and the procedure that I followed when I caught 3 people, I immediately got on the phone and got you. And I never talked, well, I would ask them, maybe how much something was. I didn't challenge them. I asked them questions.
Yes.
Some of them recognized me, some didn't, And
that's
when I was
fine.
on the phone calling, I knew it was the hat, yeah. Anyway, yeah, and the gals,
remember
whoever's doing, comes right down and speaks to them. And
Okay.
then we went back, I think a week later.
So we have the what, you guys can develop the how. Sounds like you have some pretty good ideas. We'll help you in any way we can. Because to me, that's all of our responsibility. Right.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, anytime any of us go and walk that street, I think subconsciously we should be doing that.
Right.
Right.
I don't, anytime I'm down there.
No,
I'm
that's
looking-
how I learned from
I'm
Ron
looking at
about
every
having their
single
permit
booth.
display.
Right,
That kind of stuff.
that was another thing.
So anytime you're down there for recreation for yourself, look at the booths.
Okay.
My question is, do we introduce ourselves?
You may.
If you want.
You may.
Okay. You can.
You don't have
But
to, but
you
if you'd
don't
like
have
to, you can.
We
don't have
talked about carrying a clipboard,
I
and that
like
would
that.
be okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure,
Absolutely.
okay, okay.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
my question.
yeah.
And I always wear my VillageFest
Yeah.
shirt,
I do
so
too.
that when I introduce
Okay.
myself, and
Yeah,
I'm just
that's
saying,
no
I have
secret.
some questions,
Yeah.
and they're usually.
Just don't challenge. You can ask the questions, they answer the questions, but don't get into any arguments
Oh,
or
gosh.
anything
That's a
with them.
staff responsibility.
I
Yeah,
usually
absolutely.
introduce myself to anybody I stop.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And I always ask them how they're doing on the streets, if they have any questions
Oh,
or
that's
any
good.
complaints.
That's a nice way to do it.
And I'll get feedback, and at the same time I'm looking, so it
And
works.
especially if they're new on the street, I always
Yeah.
go and introduce
Because
myself
some of
and
them have
then say,
complaints.
thank you for being there, and I like your
Yeah.
booth and whatever,
Yeah.
and they really appreciate that.
Right. Okay.
Oh, very
I
good.
had one other thing.
Yes.
So I noticed on the street that there are some vendors out there that are downtown merchants that do not have a sign that says they're a downtown merchant.
Yeah.
And I think that encourages the other people to possibly break the rules because they think, oh, well, they could have that stuff out there, and they need to understand that those booths are under a different rule. So one booth in particular, and I reported it to you, not only didn't have a sign and was told that she didn't have a sign, but she also just had the skeleton of a Easy Up without any canopy over it, and it was just plain ugly. It was not of a caliber of VillageFest, so I just want to say that.
Right.
And we will address that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, the other thing was awesome polish. He was hacking or hawking, was it hacking?
Hawking.
Hawking.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's what got my attention. Then when I looked at the booth, it's like all this merchandise, and how can he and his wife make all this merchandise and label it and product and everything?
Is
And-
that the one that does your car
Yeah.
lights?
Yeah, lights.
That
Yeah.
takes
Yeah.
the
Uh-huh.
fog off
Takes
the
all
lights.
the
Yeah.
stuff out. I'll
Right.
be
And it works, by the way, too.
Yeah, he's so, I'm
Okay.
surprised.
All right. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Well, I have overheard Ron say, I think maybe 4 times, when he noticed something or he purposely went to check on a booth that we've discussed or was of some question. And then I heard him say that he then goes to the website and he does certain things. Is this something that staff has done already, or are we doing like an investigation type thing on every single vendor? Or, in other words, what is this already happening, and then when Ron decided to check it because it seemed odd, he finds out it's, you see what I'm saying? Like, here's a couple that when he checks them out, he sees there's a website and he feels that it doesn't seem like they're making the things. But is this something that we're already doing or should be doing?
Well, usually when we get the agenda and they're a new vendor and they have a website, I'll go to the website and review the website to see if it matches. Sometimes they don't have or they don't give us that website information until they're on the street, and then we see it, and then I look into it.
I think her question is more direct than that. Her question is, I'm not putting words
Are we
in your mouth.
supposed to do that?
Are we supposed to be investigators?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Thank you.
That's
I'm
what
glad
we're
you
here
asked.
to do.
I
Because,
don't know.
okay, here's my take on this whole thing. They do all this, and they give us this, and they give us the receipts, and all this stuff, then they pour their heart out to us for 5 minutes, show us what they make. And then we accept based on, number one, our gut feeling, number two, the facts that are presented. So some people give us a lot of facts, and some people give us a couple of facts,
Correct.
right?
A
So
lot.
what I'm
Yes,
saying is,
yes.
Ron's doing investigative reporting on things that jump out to him. So this one I'm saying, now that we're having more and more issues, is this something we're supposed to be doing, or are we supposed to just genuinely receive their information and go on our gut feeling?
I look up every single one of them that I could find anything on, and as a matter of fact, that's, now the websites are listed on the application where we ask that question. Some people don't. To me, a red flag is when somebody doesn't put it on there, but I look and right away they have a website, and oftentimes there's stuff in there. Are we supposed to do it? I don't know, but
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
think that's my
trying-
question, is
Yeah,
how
I'm just trying to make sure
deeply
that
are
I
we-
know as much as I can that I can share here with the group.
I think on being on this committee, it's everyone's responsibility to check out, because we can't leave everything to 2 people. So that's what we're here for. There's many distributors out there that you're not even aware of. He's caught 5 already just in the last couple of weeks. So there's more to come.
So
Once
I
you
guess
go on a
that's
website
exactly,
and
they're
look for
doing
it.
their job. I came in, like you, Julie, and I'm given this, and then I read through it, and I look at the pictures and whatever we have. But now, just in the last month, I'm hearing this investigative actions in addition to what we have been doing already.
I've always done it.
But you've always done it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, only if I had something to report out do I do it. Most of the time, there's nothing to say. Everything seems on the up and up, so I'm good with it. But sometimes, I mean, the fact is, people lie.
The way we're set up, I mean, we spend hours and hours and hours listening to people, looking at their catalogs and their information, and making a determination based on the stuff that they give us, yay or nay. And if it's yes, we trust that they have told us the truth. When we find out that it isn't the truth, we have to have them back and re-juried, like what happened today. It's a little disconcerting, because I take people at their word. But I don't know that I want to spend all my waking hours investigating people. If something comes up that we or the committee discovers, then we have to take issue with it on a case-by-case basis. But I don't see it as my role to be the cop, only if they're not comporting with our rules and regulations. we should be able to make the determination based on the written materials and the dialogue that we have with them. And if we can't, then they shouldn't be approved. If they don't give us enough information, which is different than when they give us one set of facts and then things are at the booth that shouldn't be at the booth.
But you'll never know that.
Saying is,
No, you don't.
I don't
Until you
like,
check.
I don't like a feeling, I don't want to have a feeling that certain vendors are being
Targeted.
picked out or
Targeted.
targeted, and there's a thorough investigation, and then the other dozen, there's no investigation. Now, I just want to make sure that we're doing the equal look at each vendor. That's my desire.
I agree with that.
To see that in the same way we investigate each vendor so the best that we know, we are approving the right kind of.
And I think the only way to do that is to have this subcommittee task all of us with a certain amount so that we can say we equally, there's no disparate treatment. We equally treat everybody the same way. We look at everybody's booth the same way. And if we find issues, we're not just looking at jewelry or arts and crafts. We're looking at every booth. That's the only way I think we can be fair.
If a vendor is in violation of a rules and regulation, how are we going to know that? It's going to either be from another vendor, from a retail merchandise, the staff, or one of us.
Or
So
a customer.
Or a customer, right.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember we had a customer who bought, remember those dusted gold roses?
Oh,
and
yeah, and the fancy
bought them,
boxes,
was told that they were
yeah.
handmade and everything. Took it, went home, and opened the box, and it says "Made in China."
Oh.
And she was furious, and we had
handmade in China.
concerns with it. And that's,
By slaves,
I'd rather
by child slaves.
have it internal investigations or concerns and issues and look at it than the outside coming to us and saying, "You're not; these are not handmade." You know, and that's. What
And
I'm
in
trying
fact,
to avoid.
I don't even know that we should call it compliance. I would like to call it oversight. But
It's compliance.
is it compliance? Call it what it is, damn it.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Okay, got it.
And again, when we report these to staff, it's, you know, our concerns. It's not saying they are in violation. We are concerned that they may be in violation. Can you assist in?
That's how to handle it. I think we're all saying the same thing. Okay, we're good. All right, anything else? Okay, subcommittee reports, topicals. Before we start, I wanted to thank the subcommittee right here for taking the time out of their day to hammer out something that was, in a lot of ways, for a lot of us, gibberish. And thank you, Joy, for capturing everything. What we did was we didn't reinvent anything. We took what was already written by the FDA or the state of California or the lawyer person that sent us that letter and tried to slice it and dice it in a way that would make sense to a prospective vendor and to us. What's required? What do they have to do? What's that all about? But right. But did you want to talk about it a little bit? Since
Sure.
Okay.
And I also.
Did you copy it? Do you know what we're talking about?
I have a copy.
Okay. Do you have a copy? You can.
Sorry,
go ahead, push
and
it
I
out.
don't, but
Here,
I
you
just
can-
want to
this
say
is
that it didn't just have to do with the CBD products either, because even the, some of the things that we took up in this document that we prepared also goes with the eucalyptus dude too, or group, family, whoever they are, because of the claims being made for a product that is not in fact authorized by the FDA to make those sort of claims. So that was one of the biggest, the things that were the most glaring are just that there is certain labeling that is required by law. The fact is, if they want to say that they were hemp products, it doesn't rest the same, but if you want to say CBD, you have to have the proper labeling. And you cannot make claims for any health things that have not been approved by the FDA.
Are there any health claims that have been approved?
By the FDA?
By the
For
FDA?
CBD?
Right,
No.
no, okay.
Because, and that is why cannabis in itself is still a Schedule I. And so the FDA being federal, we shouldn't expect that we're going to see that change anytime soon because it's a Schedule 1, and what Schedule 1 means is that it has no health benefit according to the FDA and the federal government.
Copy that, thank you.
So that's an important thing. Now, the labeling on here and the health claims, those were the biggest things. But then there's also two things. We have topicals, and then we have tinctures. I personally still feel very clear that anything that's going in your mouth should have to go through the health department. Now, I realize that the health department does not regulate CBD. Well, until they do, they shouldn't be on the street. I just feel very strongly about anything that is on the street that we are allowing somebody to sell that they are going to ingest. It's not our fault that the health department doesn't already have something in place for that. I can't help that, but we don't know if somebody's making something in some kind of dirty kitchen, or, you know, if their cat's crawling across the counter while they're packaging stuff, because I could tell you that in my line of business, I have received products like that with dog hair under labels and all sorts of stuff. And this is where I started thinking about it. It's gross. And then people are just putting it in their mouth. I just can't accept that.
Well, and that is still within line with your current rules and regulations.
Of any
We do
product.
not allow any product that is ingestible on the street that has not been approved by the health department.
So why would we all of a sudden just allow this certain kind of product?
Right.
So that just didn't make sense to me, that not only is there a controversial side to it altogether, but that we would allow ingestibles to just be untested altogether, even just for cleanliness or molds or bacteria in it, or was the bottle clean? I mean, there's a million things that goes with that. So, and as far as topicals go, it is a little bit different, and the state does consider topicals in a different category as well, just in general, that a topical isn't considered a medicine. But at the same time then, with topicals, whether they be CBD or hemp or eucalyptus or lotions of any kind, you know, we have several lotion type vendors, lotions and soaps and stuff. So, you know, they can't be making health claims about it, even if it's just a bar of soap that somebody has out there, or, you know, that you use this soap and your arthritis is going to go away. So there's the two things. There's the tinctures and the topicals. I really don't think that any item in VillageFest should be allowed that is ingestible, that has not gone to the health department. And if the health department is not prepared for that, then we should not carry it, no matter what it is. That is my feeling.
I'm sorry, would this board consider maybe adopting a policy that until the health department takes CBD under consideration and provides some guidelines, that we do not allow it on the street, and that is just ingestible?
I want to speak to that.
Okay, but can I say something about that? It's not just about the CBD. There are other products out there that are tincture products that are not CBD or at all. They just
anything ingestible that is not approved by the health department.
Yeah, that's
Not only that,
right?
but the claims of even the creams at a 3.03%. I've had people that have gone to a certain store that's opened up and have come to me and said, I paid $64 for this and I'm not getting any relief. They're not educated, they're selling manufactured products, they're trying to sell it at the street fair or the VillageFest for cure-alls. Cannot be done. It's not potent enough.
Okay, can we just stick with just the
Tinctures.
tinctures
Yeah.
or anything, just so we can
Right.
at
Just
least
anything
at least
ingestible.
resolve
Let
one
me
of these
let me speak to
concerns.
that.
Include animal products?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I think that's-
What we're saying in this, if you read this, we're saying, if you make your dog biscuits, if you bake your cookies with CBD in them or on them or whatever they do with it, if you want to sell those edibles, you must get a health department permit the same way any other baker who bakes cookies does it, so that they certify that they're in a commercial kitchen or a clean kitchen or whatever. That's different than saying we're going to ban them. because this is my personal opinion, I don't think we should. To me, there are some things that you can put on your skin that are more poisonous than some you can ingest. There's a tremendous overlap. Both anything that gets into your system, whether it's through your mouth or through your pores, to me is dangerous and needs attention and needs monitoring and labeling and all the things that we talk about.
But we don't require it of all the topicals.
Right.
But anything
No, we don't.
ingestible, we do require. Like you're saying, a cookie, right? We would never just allow a cookie baker to just bake their cookies at home and bring them there.
Right.
Right? So why would we allow them to put other things that you're going to eat and just bring them to VillageFest?
That are not regulated by the health department.
It's not a
Right, and the health
even-
department is not regulating, the health department is not regulating the CBD. That's being regulated by the state and federal.
Right.
The health department is regulating the facility where this is being created. Now, if we were to approve this as, I'll call it a policy, it's not a rule. If we were to approve it, that would mean that somebody that comes in like those damn dog biscuits with the drop of CBD wouldn't be allowed because they're not making those.
Right.
But if they came in and said, I bake these in my kitchen in Rancho Mirage,
And here's the health department.
and I have a health department.
Does the health department do animal products? I
Okay,
don't
so
think
that is not the current policy that we govern. Animal products that are just animal products, biscuits, we have approved that are someone making it in their kitchen.
But CBD hasn't been federally approved yet, so if it
I'm
has a CBD
I'm
oil.
not talking about CBD. I'm just
Okay.
saying, prior to the discussion of CBD, this board has approved
Okay.
animal products that we feed animals, animal cookies,
Okay.
animal biscuits that do not,
Got
that
it.
are not approved through the health department.
So maybe the biscuits wouldn't have to be made that way, but they would still require the labeling.
Correct.
If they are gonna say it, they would still have to have the proper labeling on it, test results and everything else that is required for CBD, if they wanna use the word CBD.
Right, so we're saying
I
it's a,
think- Can't we just say no dog products with
CBD.
FDA not approved ingredients?
Yes.
So are you gonna say that for
well-
all dog products? It has to be across the board.
FDA approved ingredients.
Are you gonna say that about all
Pet,
Right, so.
animal
I would.
related ingestible items?
I would.
For any food, any vendor who comes before you who it wants to sell just dog biscuits, it has to be across the board policy.
As long as those products do not include any non-approved FDA ingredients.
what are you really saying?
Any,
I-
I'm
if-
basically saying any type of.
Ron, turn your.
I didn't know that the health department doesn't
Do we have
regulate
dog biscuits now?
Oh, yeah, they make
Yeah.
dog biscuits, but they
I
don't
didn't-
include, none of the.
I
none
didn't
of
know
the-
that until you just
right.
said it.
No.
That-
None of the
I always
animal
thought the health
products.
department
Yeah.
did that
I'm
too.
of the mind that if in fact the Riverside County Department of Health will not inspect places that bake dog biscuits,
They do not.
then it's buyer beware. If they can buy them in a brick and mortar store,
Which they can.
then they should be able to buy them at VillageFest. We're not the health department, and if the city council wants to ban them, let them. I personally don't think we are in the position to do that. But that's my opinion. There are 6 other people here who might feel entirely opposite, and that's
I
fine.
just want the board to make decisions that are across the board. So
Right.
the topic of CBD in, or ingestible items, that's across the board. This board can decide as a policy, we will not approve those items because the health department does not approve them. And that's where your comfort level is, and that's across the board for anything on the street.
And when they do, we could review it again if the
Right.
health department does end up that
You
they
could bring it
are
up at that
given the
time.
okay.
Now, wait a minute. The health department isn't doing anything with CBDs. Like I said, the health department is checking out the kitchen or the cooking that you can't. You're not allowed. But I'm sorry. I didn't want to be rude. You can't. But we'll talk afterwards. What I'm saying is if somebody comes forward and says, I'm baking, I don't care if it's a CBD cookie for a human or forget about the animals for a human, we're saying to them, your facility has to be approved by Riverside County Health. And Riverside County Health will approve them because they're baking cookies, right? Maybe they will, maybe they won't. If they won't, then we cannot allow them because it's an edible. Is that what you're saying? If Riverside County says, yeah, we're inspecting the facility and they're baking cookies, what they're putting into them is not within our purview, we get that. And if Riverside County still says their kitchen's clean and we approve them to sell to make, that's different than if Riverside County says, we're not going to get into that. And they might, and maybe they will, maybe they won't. Then we're back to square one. And like I said, if brick and mortar stores sell edibles and whatever it is complies with the FDA regulations and our attorney's recommendations, they're not requirements, they're recommendations, and the state of California recommendations on labeling and packaging and, you know, all that stuff, then who are we to say no? That's the question that's tantamount to me.
Well, it is this board's purview. That's what your role is. Your role is to decide your vision for VillageFest and what is sold on the street and whether it complies with that vision. And your vision doesn't always have to match up, but a majority of it does to be approved. So if you decide that you do not want ingestible items sold on the street, you have that purview. And that may change when we lose board members and we get new board members. The vision of VillageFest, you know, aside from the 75% handmade, is kind of ever evolving, and it depends on who's on this
Since
board.
I've been on the board, definitely.
Yeah. So that's where your purview lies,
So-
and your vision of VillageFest.
So can we just take this as two totally separate subjects? I think is the only way it's gonna really come
Let's
to
do
a
the
resolution.
easiest first.
So the easiest is the topicals.
Yeah.
The topicals require a boatload of labeling that is required. I mean, so if they want to use that term, then they have to back it up with a really lot of labeling. They cannot make claims, health claims of cures. That's part of it as well. You know, their advertising and their materials at the booth can't like say that this is gonna cure you of cancer, you know, and have signage like that. So.
So we created these, and I think what Joy is trying to say is we would like to get a consensus to see if the majority or plurality of the board feels that these requirements, and if you haven't seen them, we'll get a copy. We don't have to vote on it today.
You haven't seen them?
I have not seen them.
Okay. I'm going to give you this because I have extra copies.
I did not email them out to everybody.
Oh,
I did not.
okay.
I wanted you to have this
This is part of
discussion.
discussion, it's fine.
It's part of discussion. So anyway, it's all the things that the lawyer said, we're not adding anything into it. These are things that she pulled from FDA.
We
They're
just condensed
guidelines.
this all to something that I think is fair.
Yeah,
With the two different things. So one is something that's being ingested. Nothing should be able to be ingested without the making of it going through the health department, in my opinion. That is my opinion for anything that's there. We wouldn't allow somebody to come in with beef jerky or, you know, or cookies or something if they couldn't be
Unless it's
inspected.
prepackaged.
Yeah, well, but then that facility.
The facility has to be inspected.
Right, so, I mean, it's just, we're breaking our own rule by allowing it in. And then as far as topicals go, I think that there was a couple of things, with both of them too. The person at the booth has to be the maker of the product. They cannot be distributed or come from somewhere else. They can't sell other lines. You know, they have to just sell what they themselves make.
What
And
if they're
they need the proper
distributors?
labeling.
What if they're distributors?
They can't, they're not allowed to. if
Okay,
they're
let me talk about distributors for a second. I agree that distributors, as we're discussing this, I think we're saying that they shouldn't be permitted because we don't allow other types of distributors. However, there's a caveat, and I need clarification from you on this. We have some currently that we have approved as distributors, They are distributors, there's no secret about that. And are they in farmer's market?
Correct, because our previous rules and regulations, prior to council approving them, allowed for distributors.
Okay.
So we
Farmers
did
market.
approve vendors, and we do have vendors on the street who are distributors, and they were approved.
On our
knowing
old
going
rules.
The
on
old rules, right.
rules.
But none of the new.
Correct.
But so they should be, in fairness, moving forward, we can adopt these or not adopt
Well, they're
these, but
grandfathered.
they're grandfathered
Because they
in
were approved
until
under
such
old rules and
time as they
regulations.
decide, they're not making any money there and they
You
need to
mean
go
like an
away.
olive oil sort of a booth or
Yeah.
something
Exactly.
like that?
Which
just a
Yeah.
we
regular
have
booth.
approved.
And I think, because at some point, we have to just draw the line and say,
Yeah.
okay, they're water under the bridge, we can't relitigate with them,
Right.
it's not worth the trouble, to be
But
honest with you.
I think under distributors was for food specialties. It wasn't for tropicals or polishes or anything like that.
No, not under your old rules.
No.
Right.
No, it does not, it does not
doesn't
specifically
distinguish.
say, no.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the problem. If it did, then
So
we'd
everybody going
wouldn't be
forward, it
discussing
would
it.
change, but the people that are there now is grandfathered in.
Not for everything.
Well, grandfathering doesn't automatically
Well,
come. That's
right.
something that you decide on. Like, we have 5 booths, I think, at VillageFest that were grandfathered in since day one or
Yeah.
within the first year
jewelry.
that they've been there. Yeah, and that's, so
26
those
and
are
a
always
half.
questionable to people. But, yeah, so, I mean, just because somebody was doing something under the old rules does not automatically mean that they definitely can continue that.
No, that's true, and I think that would require a vote. A little more discussion, maybe
Yes.
at a future meeting,
Yes.
and a vote. But is it the board's feeling that we're kind of on the right track? We've come up with some ideas for topicals, we've come up with some ideas for tinctures, which are a little bit more dicey, but at least we've separated them out. And we can discuss them a little bit more, I think, after all of you read this, and are you good with that?
Yeah, and I just want to state again, though, that as far as the topicals, I'm talking about the eucalyptus guy too. This is across
Right,
the
he
board.
wants to add CBD
And
to
as
his
far
product.
as the tinctures, there's somebody there too that's selling tinctures that were not CBD oriented. They're essential oil oriented. And I think that has to be reviewed also, just anything. I'm not picking on this. I mean it across the board.
I think we're should have one meeting where maybe we don't have new vendors, but we recall any of the vendors that we have to talk to again, and then eliminate or do whatever we have to do. Because that's gonna take a day in its,
Before we
time
do
in
that,
itself.
we have to decide if we're gonna recall them, because what I'm just hearing is, these vendors have been grandfathered in, or we have the ability to grandfather them in.
You do, yes, based on your old rules and regulations. What I think is, I understand what you're saying, because there's a part of me that does agree that we need to get all of these vendors on the same page. If they've been grandfathered in or not, they still need to comply
Absolutely.
with the correct labeling,
Right, I
and
think-
that
and I
is
think that's
just
what Julie meant.
completely
Yeah, the label.
a safety precaution.
Since I've been here, nobody's been grandfathered in, they're all new. So how can you grandfather in somebody that's new?
We're saying grandfathered in
in
based on
general.
our old rules and regulations.
Rules and regulations.
Like the olive oil vendor and stuff.
The
That
old
doesn't have
ones.
anything to do with
the new
this
ones.
other subject, but just that some people were
Right.
allowed to be distributors
And
back
we
then.
can't bring them in until we
Exactly.
all agree on whatever we're gonna, we might wanna make some change, you might wanna make some
And
changes.
then they need to be notified of the changes and see if they comply to them.
Exactly.
If they
Right.
don't, then we would reach out.
Right.
I have a question on your guidelines for, and again, this goes to CBD. Are we making sure that they're producing their receipts for the purchase of the CB products that they're infusing into their creams and so forth? Are they tested? And
I feel like we fell short a little bit on that during their reviews.
Right.
I think so, too.
I mean, at least the last 2 vendors that we were very, very specific in needing the receipts
Right.
and having the receipts present, as well as the testing.
right, but I think at the time, we didn't know.
We didn't know what
They
they
could
asked
have
for.
had a receipt from Colorado Prime CBD, and we didn't know who they were. And they're saying this is the test results and everything.
A distributor calls their supplier and tells them, can you send this receipt down? Can you send this invoice down? There's ways around all this when
Absolutely,
you're dealing
and
in
there's
our
ways
industry.
around our current vendors that we bring back that we are sure are not hand making their product, and then they prove that they're making their product.
It would be great if we could get to the point, you may not like this, where they don't even show up here until they check the box. They've submitted their testing, they've submitted their labeling, they've submitted their blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You may not want to do that. You
Well,
may
no,
want
from
us
a
to
staff
continue to
level,
do
it would
that.
be easier for us to have boxes next to all
Right.
these things that we could say, got it, got it, got it, okay, you are sufficient now to go see the board. It would be much easier than having them come up here and haphazardly giving us information. So
Sure.
I do like the idea of having this, if we could streamline it and actually put maybe some boxes
Okay.
that Faith and I in the office can follow. And then we could say, we feel fairly comfortable sending you to the board, and then you have that information.
Right,
Absolutely.
that's kind of what we do with the food vendors. They don't come here until they've gotten the Riverside County Health
Right.
Department approval for their,
Right.
the screened-in booth and all
We've got
that.
vendors, food vendors selling CBD water.
Yeah,
We,
got food vendors selling horse meat.
Should report that to.
Probably.
I will.
Because we have never, ever approved water
Right, no,
to be
it's just-
sold with CBD products.
Right.
So that's a violation, so you.
They would have to
report
come,
that.
they would have to come back to us and say, we'd like to sell.
introduce.
Yeah, it's a new product.
Right, but I'm sure the health department isn't gonna approve that, so we would never allow them to
No,
come
of
before
course
the board
not.
in the first
Of course
place.
not.
Right, so that's what I'm saying is you don't have a set of rules to go by
Not
first
yet.
in order to call them back or even report them,
Right.
because you're gonna go.
So what I think we should,
That's a complete violation
it.
of approval, yeah, absolutely. We have I mean, if you say something of
They
that
can't bring
nature,
chocolate cake in either
Right.
if they didn't get that approved.
Approved by
Right,
the board.
exactly.
Right.
But you can't be a distributor that has labels and manufactured items that you're selling that you
No, but
are
it's like if
claiming
they're
are
selling, if
yours.
they're selling Coca-Cola with their food or with their product at their table, they had to get approval.
Right.
prior. So if they're going to be selling CBD products and they want to add water with infused CBD, they have to come back to the board for approval.
absolutely.
correct.
One other real quick question on the.
Ron.
On The health department, do they okay labeling and packaging? Do they go through and say, oh,
They
this is
do,
an
but
active ingredient?
they have different requirements
Right.
than what the city attorney sent us. They have different requirements, but yes,
Right, so-
labeling is required.
Okay.
We have had the health department have vendors shut down if they did not have
Good.
the appropriate,
Yeah,
on
'cause I
the
know-
street,
and
they did not have the appropriate labeling.
They're down on the street checking too,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
The California Department of Health oversees cannabis products. So not the Riverside
Right.
County, and so that's where there's this little
Yeah.
problem
Right,
in
there's
this
like a
glitch.
gap,
But,
mhm.
but until they are doing it, you can't just let
Well,
people
just a
bring
point of
it
interest,
in.
there's several in our new rules and regulations, it says if you're in violation of a city, county, state, or federal regulation, you cannot be in VillageFest.
That's correct.
And CBD is still considered a
federal.
federal offense,
Correct.
Right.
so.
There you have it, standing stores too.
And that's how that was how the attorney, the letter from the attorney came, that we need to be aware that it is still a federal
Well,
offense.
what it says is it must comply with all federal and state and city regulations.
It
That's-
doesn't.
Yeah, it does. Does it twice. In our rules and regulations?
State and federal doesn't, CBD doesn't apply.
No, I'm talking about CBD. I'm talking about the VillageFest rules and regulations say you have to comport with all the state and city. Right, of course. And this is the Wild West right now.
Feels a little like it.
A little bit.
I
So-
call it the pseudo laws of the cities
Yes.
and states and counties, because they are pseudo laws. They're not the
Right.
laws that they've done, not approved by the.
Right, so anyway, I'm getting tired of dealing with this.
So I
Husband,
will,
wife,
so I will email out, the information that was sent from the subcommittee. We will put it back on the agenda
Okay.
for the next board meeting.
Is that okay?
And
Yeah, let's
then,
do that.
Yeah, good.
in the meantime, Faith and I will try and comport this maybe into an actual document that is usable for us on a staff level, and then we could kind of adjust it.
Right,
But
because
we-
it's all broken down.
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually
Yeah.
pretty easy to work
Thank-
with.
Thanks to this lady right
Yes,
here.
thank you for taking the time.
I just have one other real quick question. I know a lot of our the CBD vendors are promoting, the tropical creams or whatever as a remedy or something like that. And I know we asked one vendor to take their sign down. Can we monitor that now? Because that
Yes.
should be, that was always part of our acceptance of the CBD, that they had no marketing or
Yeah.
advertising material. So could we monitor that
Yes.
before this, or should we just wait?
Yes, we can,
Okay.
yes. What I would like to do is, I do believe there are 2 vendors that the board approved their booth with the signage up. I believe it was the last 3 that were approved that we required them to change their signage. I believe the first 2, which have been vendors with us for a while, we approved their booth with those claims. So yes, the 3 we've already talked to, and their booths should be complying with that. The first 2, I do think we might have to ask them to have their booths rejuried. And we
That's
may have
fine.
to,
Yeah.
because they have been already approved.
What
with
vendors
that
were they?
Signage.
That's one from India?
Yeah.
Where- Who are those 2 vendors?
No, you take it home.
Merengue.
This is good stuff.
And Gold Rush Elixir.
Yeah, so see here we have elixirs, both of those.
Yes, yes, those are the 2. And, oh, that's Merengue.
So when we,
Merengue is
for the Gold Rush?
Sounds like it.
when we invite them back, are we able to invite them back and have a discussion before we approve this stuff? I think we can.
What staff would like to do is provide them with the board requirements, and if they are,
Okay.
unable to comply, then we'll ask them to come back and tell them the board needs to rejury their.
Okay, well, these are the requirements.
Right.
Okay. On the Gold Rush vendor, Elixir or whatever it is, they go by a different name on their booth.
California Gold Rush.
Yeah. And
That's working.
to be honest, their booth should be reevaluated because the lighting is so poor you cannot read any of their literature or any of the product information. Yeah, it's Professor Scotchawash.
Gosh, gosh.
I want to see too, what's their facts about?
Who can read
CBD?
this?
I know, you can't read any.
What are their facts?
And none of their products or advertising has the warning, no federal FDA approved. I pretty much think that on all of our CBD.
Can I just
vendors-
read one sentence here?
Uh-huh.
Scientific and clinical research, much of it sponsored by the U.S. government, underscores CBD's potential as a treatment for a wide range of conditions, including arthritis, diabetes, alcoholism, MS, chronic pain, schizophrenia, PTSD, depression, antibiotic-resistant infections, epilepsy, and other neurological disorders. So,
Where
I
are they
mean,
located?
Right? Like, I can some of that.
Yeah, we all want that.
We all do.
Right.
So, I
The
mean,
other thing with
gotta
this
get
vendor,
her, Jeff.
I forgot to mention, the other
I
thing with
mean,
this
real
vendor,
specific says federal.
another thing that I mentioned, when I went onto their website, it says that their product has been approved by the City Council of Palm Springs, Palm Desert, Rancho Mirage, which is a strict violation of our rule saying that the city authorizes or approves any of this stuff. And that's on
Well,
page.
they can say we're an arm of the city and we approve their sale.
Well, then they should
That's
say
false
Village Fest.
advertising.
They
Well,
should,
they should document where they're getting that information from.
Well,
so
yeah.
They can't.
Well,
That
that's,
should all be footnoted.
when I came on this board, that was my biggest beef
Yeah.
because we have to study so much about what's going on that you get the yahoos out here that do what they do and they're not even educated. They just
And they're
want to
here
make a
one day a
fast
week.
buck.
Yeah.
John, I will follow up on both of those items,
Okay.
the website and this.
Yeah, it says, no person or business participating in Village Fest shall state, imply, or otherwise suggest that the city of Palm Springs endorses, sponsors, or supports the views of this or her organization, candidate, product, or service.
Well,
And that's on their website.
Okay.
I will
Thanks for
follow up on
bringing
that
that
tomorrow.
up.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have anything? What else?
Oh, yeah.
What about companion animal? I started it, I'm sorry.
Well, do you have copies? It's pretty simple, I think, if you want to wait just 5 minutes and wait until.
I do wanna wait.
Oh, you want to wait? Okay.
I would love to see it.
Oh, okay. No, I was going to say we could do it really quickly.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
we should try.
Are you going to the cultural center at 6?
What's going on
A movie, the movie? Okay, I'll just briefly go. The first part of the,
I want to hear what Ron has to say.
the first part of the memorandum is just basically dog-friendly. VillageFest is a dog-friendly environment, and there are regulations based on city ordinance 10 animals, and it talks about they have to be, if a female is inbreeding, they have to be not allowed, they have to be licensed, their license has to be on the tag. Dog defecation must be removed immediately by owner. No habitual barking, dogs must be restrained by a substantial leash, dog must be in effect controlled by the owner. No dog shall be permitted to run at large. That's the city ordinance. Vendor pets. And this is my recommendation and Julie's recommendation. No vendor will be allowed to bring their household pet, meaning no small animal, customarily domesticated, within their booth for their company, support, or pleasure without the prior consent of the VillageFest board on a case-by-case basis. The exception of service animals under Title 2 and 3 of the ADA, that's the American Disability Act, will be allowed in the vendor's booth, but must have the consent of the village board prior to participation. Only dogs and miniature horses are recognized as service animals. Animals must be harnessed, leashed, restrained, or tethered unless these devices interfere with the service animal's work on the vendor's disability prevents using these devices. The vendor must take effective action to keep animal in control. Vendors of each animal shall take all steps necessary to ensure noise disturbances. Vendor will not allow any animal to be habitually bark, whine, or make loud or unusual noises as to reasonable disturb other vendors or visitors. Vendors will be asked to remove animals not return if noise disturbance occurs. Animal defecation to be removed immediately by vendors. Dog must meet the City Council Code 10. Definitions, service animals. A service animal is a dog or miniature horse that is individually trained to do work or perform tasks for a person with a disability. We can only ask the vendor, is the dog, miniature horse, a service animal because of a disability? And what work or task has the dog been trained to perform? We can't ask the vendor, what is the disability, require medical documentation, require a special ID card or training document, or ask the animal to demonstrate its ability to perform work or task. For miniature horses, there are 4 assessment factors to consider. Horse housebroken. Can VillageFest booth space accommodate the miniature horse under control of the vendor? Horse's presence will not compromise the legitimate safety requirements necessary for safety business operations. Emotional support animals or comfort animals, not considered service animals under the ADA. They provide companionship, relieve loneliness, help with depression, anxiety, and certain phobias. And they have no special training. So those are just business. Well, we do have, don't we have some miniature horses? No, they're ponies. They're not miniature horses. But I think.
Do you need to add the word companion animal in that laundry list of emotional support animals or comfort animals? Isn't that term also used sometimes, companion animal? Which falls into that same thing. The airlines are cracking down on it too.
Right. I'm sorry,
I
what
can't
was
take my
it?
cats anymore as companion animals.
He's wondering if you want to add companion
I have to pay for them.
animal to where it says emotional support
Yeah, the airlines are getting
animals,
real strict
comfort
about it.
animals, companion animals.
Oh,
It's up to you.
Do they have to have paperwork to back it up when they are?
No.
No.
Nope.
Really?
No, no, you
So they
can't
can just
ask.
say they are, and that's.
and that's all they can say. Is the dog or horse trained to do work or task? And they say yes.
And you can
And
ask what task they
the
do.
task is. Well, you ask is they're there for disability. They say yes. Are they trained to do a task or work? Yes. That's all I have to ask. You cannot ask them what the disability is. You can't ask them to show us what they're trained to do.
But you can ask, what does the animal do for you?
It doesn't have to have any ID or card or anything. They don't have to have
Doesn't?
anything.
No.
Oh my gosh, that's
just
different.
It's a,
Surprised at that, because they take them into restaurants.
Oh, yeah.
oh, the airlines are cracking
There's
down
one
on
that
them.
comes to Mizell, only dog, and now he's feeding the dog while
So,
everybody else is eating.
do we need a motion on this, or is it?
No,
what do
we would have to put it on next.
Put it on the next agenda. And thank you both for doing, this is terrific.
It is.
This is really
What's
comprehensive.
interesting is I thought
It
you
is
had to
Aaron.
have a certificate or had to have the
So did I, or some kind of permit or something, no.
But there's so many illegal things going out there, they're just
It's
continuing.
really not fair to the people who really, you know, the blind and deaf. That's who it's really for.
Yeah, it's a seeing eye dog, it's really
Yeah,
basically.
that,
what it
I
is.
get that.
And we do have a vendor that has a seeing eye dog.
That's fine. Right. They'll bring back Stuart the pig as a comfort animal. Okay, that's it. I move that we adjourn.
I'll second that.
Okay, we're adjourned at 5:48 PM.
We all agree?
All great, all in favor?
All in favor?